what if the market shifts? What if the margins on your farm keep getting tighter? Simplot Grower Solutions is here to help. Simplot Crop Advisors know South Dakota corn, soybean, wheat, and other crops like you do because they live and work.
Most people don't think about their furnace until it's not working, but we do. At Pipe Service Experts, we are trained to see what others miss. Airflow restrictions, pressure imbalances, heat exchanger flaws. That's how we catch little issues before they become cold nights and costly repairs. Because keeping your home warm takes more than just a toolbox. Our certified technicians will get your system running at peak condition. Call Pipe Service Experts for our special $99 precision tune-up today. Call 866-EXPERTS. See website for license details.
Now's your chance for a great deal on smoking fast fiber internet from Venture Communications. Upgrade to the speed you need, up to 1 gig. And with whole home Wi-Fi included as part of your service, experience no-lag gaming, your favorite music, web surfing, HD video streaming, and connect to the latest smart devices. If you're ready for an upgrade, call or visit Venture Communications online.
Welcome to Bowie Foods at Al's Oasis Plaza. My great-grandfather, Gus Bowie, opened the first store in 1905. I'm R.F. Bowie, the president of Bowie Foods. We aren't your typical store. You'll find everything you need for your family. You'll save money, and I promise you're going to enjoy your grocery shopping experience. We carry a lot of locally produced products and some things you just aren't going to find anywhere else. South Dakota-owned, family-owned Bowie Foods.
When you're in the need for high-quality replacement auto parts, look no further than Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop in Pierre. Zander's has been servicing the Pierre area for over 40 years. Their professional parts techs can get you the part you need and get you back on the road. Stop by Zander Auto Parts and Machine Shop at 500 West Sioux in Pierre or call 224-9221. Zander's, your source for domestic and foreign auto parts and accessories.
Being a part of a community means sharing the history and future of the people all around you. For 115 years, First Fidelity Bank has been doing just that, helping you get the most out of life by providing the services and tools you need, the conveniences and technology you want, and the friendly faces you expect. So you get everything you need right here, in the place you call home. Now and for many years to come. First Fidelity Bank.
Allied Plumbing and Heating is your contact for business, farm, commercial, and residential plumbing needs located in Pierre. No job is too big or small for Allied. Put our over 50 years of experience to work for you. At Allied Plumbing and Heating, the only surprise we want for our customers is how fast they get the job done. That's why we offer free estimates on every single service, no hidden charges. Give them a call today at Allied Plumbing and Heating. Remember, you can rely on your allies.
Pests don't wait, and neither should you. At Olson's Pest Technicians, we've been protecting homes and businesses for over 55 years. From bats in the attic to rodents in the walls, ants in the kitchen, termites underground, even swarms of mosquitoes. We've seen it all, and we handle it all. With expert technicians, ethical treatments, and service across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa, you can count on Olson's to get the job done right. Contact us today at Olson's Pest Technicians. Family-owned, community-trusted.
Do you want to join one of the oldest established organizations in Fort Pierre? Perhaps you are more interested in protecting the future. Whatever your position, the Fort Pierre Volunteer Fire Department is for you. We are responsible for fire protection in Fort Pierre and Stanley County. Become part of this amazing team by stopping down at the fire hall and discussing enrollment. We are not just limited to adults, as we have a new cadet program for students ages 14 to 18. For more information, click on our banner ad on the homepage. From everyone at the fire hall, go Buffs!
Out here, you learn that to keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they count on, with advantages at every step. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
Dakota Pro Air is a locally family-owned business that has been taking care of farmers' aerial needs since 2020. With locations in Letcher and Miller, Dakota Pro Air is able to provide service to a large area. Ground conditions too wet, or just don't want those sprayer tracks in your field? Give Dakota Pro Air a call for all your chemical and fertilizer application needs at 605-248-2314.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
Bank West is rooted in South Dakota. Committed to local success. Just like you. We're all connected. In South Dakota. For South Dakota. Convenient, connected, committed. Bank West.
Generational success means different things to different people. But to us, it means seeing my daughter follow in my footsteps, keeping the farm in the family, just getting to do this every day. We're Agtegra Cooperative, and we're generationally successful. That's who we are. Agtegra Cooperative.
The Corner Station Convenience Store and the Crossing Pub are both conveniently located on Pleasant Drive in Pierce, South Dakota. At the Corner Station, grab your favorite hot and cold beverages and snacks while filling your vehicle up with Cenex brand gasoline. The Corner Station also features a super tunnel car wash to keep your vehicle sparkling clean. At the Crossing, grab a cold beverage and check out their selection of appetizers while watching the Stanley County Buffaloes and Pierre Governors live on their big screen televisions. Best of luck to all area students from the Corner Station and the Crossing.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
Each day brings the opportunity to make a difference, to follow through with integrity, to solve challenges through innovative thinking, and to bring the technical know-how needed to get the job done. At Wilbur Ellis, this is how we work, standing side by side as local experts who partner with the stewards of the land. We do it together. That's the power of we.
Graham Tire of Pierre is your premier hometown shop, specializing in tires to fit vehicles, from ATVs to large farm equipment and everything in between. At your tire store next door, you can find a plethora of brand name tires that range from 4 to 10 ply and much more. Our highly skilled technicians can handle brakes, heating, and air conditioning. Call us today at 224-8643 or visit us at grahamtire.com. Graham Tire is a proud sponsor of Pierre and surrounding communities' local activities.
Agriculture is like no other, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other land.
At 4:45, that postponement is scheduled for a 5 o'clock tip. However, we do still have other games going on across our airwaves here this evening. In action now on River 92.7, Pure Governor girls are taking on the O'Gorman Lady Knights in their first round of the Sodak 16 in Class AA. Mobridge Pollock taking on Cheyenne Eagle Butte on the road tonight on Star 99. Matthew Giovanni's coverage getting underway here momentarily. And, of course, on KMLO, a budding rivalry between the Sully Beach Chargers and the Fulton area Trojans will be on KMLO. That pregame with Spencer Gosh will get underway here in about 15 minutes. Well, this is certainly quite a budding rivalry itself. These two teams only separated by about an hour and 20-minute drive. And, well, they have played some good basketball this season. Stanley County winners of their last 8 games come into this bracket play of region hoops in postseason, maybe playing some of the hottest basketball of anybody in Class A. Chamberlain Cubs have played quite a difficult schedule down the stretch. Most of their teams on the outset of this regular season are above or right at 500. And I think many people will agree the Chamberlain Cubs are one of the teams playing some of the best basketball at this point in the season. You might think back to their rematch here tonight. Go back to February 5th when these two teams met in Chamberlain. Stanley County got out to a double-digit lead in the first quarter. Looks like they might cruise to a victory, but that was it with Chamberlain. They were playing some of their best basketball at that time. Chamberlain scrapped, clawed, and got their way back into the ballgame. Late in the second half, actually cut it down to a 2-possession game. But Eddie Duffy, who started the game hot, closed the game strong with some clutch free throws, and Stanley County would go on to win by 12, 69-57. I think everybody knew at that point that Stanley County was the real deal, but we learned a lot about the Chamberlain Cubs and Jalen Youthy's team that night. And, well, we're going to see this second act of this play here this evening. One of these two teams will punch their ticket to the Sodak 16 qualifier, and the other, well, their season will come to an end here tonight. As we mentioned, this is going to be a huge crowd on hand. A couple buses making their way from Chamberlain with the Pure Governor girls on the road and the Pure Governor boys on the road tomorrow night. A lot of the Pure Governor faithful who didn't want to drive through this nasty weather have made it over to Fort Pierre here tonight. Those of you still making your way to the auditorium, you still got plenty of time. But we do want to remind you to drive slow and arrive alive. It starts with you. You've got someplace to be. That word from the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, and hopefully that someplace is here with us tonight in Parkview. If you can't join us in Parkview, we're thrilled you can join us on KGFX. We also want to remind you to download the DRG News app. You can bounce around from game to game, make your listening experience much more streamlined and much more enjoyable. Well, there's a couple key players that we should be keeping an eye out for here tonight. We'll dive into all of that. We'll talk to both head coaches when we get to our Keys to Success segment in this Bank West pregame show. We'll still introduce you to both starting lineups, introduce you to our game officials, take a look around the state at some of the other very intriguing matchups here tonight, and get you set for tip-off here coming up in about, 25 minutes time on KGFX. And we're also streaming tonight's game live on drgnews.com at the KGFX station page. You're listening live to the Bank West pregame show here ahead of Stanley County and Chamberlain with a trip to the Sodak 16 qualifier on the line. We'll be back after this short break on KGFX and drgnews.com.
There when you need them the most. Bank West Insurance agents Sam Kennecke and Angie Taylor are here to make your life easier.
As an independent agency, we're able to customize an insurance plan to fit your individual needs.
We work with dozens of companies to find you the best possible coverage and the best price.
For your insurance needs, contact Sam or Angie at Bank West Insurance in Pierre. Bank West, convenient, connected, committed. Insurance products are not deposits, not FDIC insured, not insured by any federal agency, not guaranteed by any bank, and may go down in value.
There's an app for everything, including high school sports, from the stations of DRG Media Group. Download the DRG News app from the App Store or Google Play. It takes only a moment, so you'll have it in time for this game. See live and archive video of all games. And when you select your favorite station during the live stream, the video will immediately pop up. See Central South Dakota high school sports on your phone or mobile device with the DRG News app. Download it now from the App Store or Google Play. Access Health Fort Pierre welcomes new and established patients, offering chronic and acute care for all ages, including evaluations for illness and injuries, immunizations, lab testing, wellness exams, and DOT and sports visits. Same-day appointments are available, and most major insurances are accepted. Good luck this season, athletes, from Access Health Fort Pierre, assuring access to quality health care.
While Colin, Diane, and the staff at Dunes Golf are sad to see the leaves fall from the trees and the South Dakota winter set in, they know that warmer days will be back. They thank the Central South Dakota golfing community for choosing Dunes Golf when they can look forward to seeing everyone again in the spring. Dunes Golf, 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806, with 18 holes and a driving range. For info, golfdunes.com. Access Health Chamberlain welcomes new and established patients, offering chronic and acute care for all ages, including evaluation for illness and injuries, immunizations, lab testing, wellness exams, and DOT and sports physicals. Same-day appointments are available, and most major insurances are accepted. Good luck this season, athletes, from Access Health Chamberlain, assuring access to quality health care.
When you are busy taking in all the area school activities, remember you'll find one stop with more to offer. You guessed it, the West 40 Food and Fuel in Ocala. We have what you want, right at I-90 exit 260, including Arby's for quality quick food options. You'll like our large selection of beverages and snacks in our West 40 C-store. Need a car wash? We have one of the best. We are proud to support our area young people, educators, and parents who make our schools great. Go Chamberlain Cubs from your fans at the West 40 Food and Fuel in Ocala.
Welcome back into the Bank West pregame show, getting set for a big matchup tonight between Stanley County and the Chamberlain Cubs. Hello, everybody. Justin Coward coming to you live on a Friday night here with some snow on the ground. Glad these fans could make their way in. Of course, there's some postponements around the state with the weather here tonight, but we are still on and full-fledged go here inside of Parkview Auditorium, and some other games will be getting underway here momentarily. Let's take a look around the state at what's going on in Class A and B on the boys' side tonight. Got a good one going between Lennox and Vermilion. Lennox with a 2-point, 27-25 lead at the end of the first half. Sioux Falls Christian cruising against Dakota Valley. They've got a 21-point lead there, 41-20 at the halftime break. 18-3 Hamlin will take on 15-6 Sioux Valley tonight. That one tipping off when we tip off here at 7 o'clock. Rapid City Christian at 13-8 will take on 13-8 Hill City tonight at 7. West Central undefeated on the season, taking on a 9-12 Del Rapids team as Del Rapids looks to pull off the major upset. McCook Central Montrose at 14-6. We'll take on 10-11 at Mount Vernon Plankin tonight at 7. Webster area and Britton Hecla, 2 13-8 teams will clash here tonight. Flandreau and Baltic. Flandreau at 14-7. Baltic at 13-8 with 2 very talented teams there. And Papialuta at 16-3. We'll take on a scrappy Little Wound team at 10-11. Heinrich and Winter will face off tonight. Stanley County knows a thing or two about both of those teams. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, Cheyenne Eagleby at 18-3 will host Mobridge Pollock at 13-8. That one will be on Star 99 with Matthew Chaboni tonight. St. Thomas More, one of the top teams in the state, at 15-5, taking on 12-9 Lee Deadwood. And Groton area at 16-4 will face off with 12-9 at Milbank. Over to the Class B side, Ipswich and Gettysburg have gotten underway. No score at the beginning of the first quarter there. Timberlake and Faith will face off at 7 o'clock. Dupree and Harding County will clash at 7 as well. Dupree at 17-4. Harding County at an even 500 at 10-10 on the season. Paducah area sits at 15-6. They'll take on White River, who sits one game above 500 at 11-10. But again, a lot of these teams have kind of crossed paths with Stanley County and Chamberlain. Stanley County saw White River in the Jones County Invitational. That was an absolute track meet. So White River is going to look to put up some points against Paducah area here tonight, try to pull off the upset there. Aberdeen Christian boasting an 18-3 record, taking on 15-6 Warner. That will draw a lot of eyes from around the state. 16-5. The Leola Frederick area will take on 15-6 Wabash Summit. Another game that'll be paid close attention to by a lot of teams across South Dakota tonight. On KMLO, as we mentioned earlier here in our Bank West pregame show, Silly Buttes and Fulton area will face off as the Chargers look to make another run through this region bracket wall at 17-4. We'll take on 12-9 New Underwood here tonight. We'll be keeping you updated on scores from around the state when we get to our halftime show presented by CHS River Plains. And of course, once every game goes final, you can tune into the local sports page at drgnews.com to see all the final scores from Class A and B. Now we got some Pure Governors fans tuning in here tonight. Pure Governor girls are trailing O'Gorman 57-22, about 2 minutes into the third quarter. Ryan Oakland has that coverage on River 92-7. Well, there's going to be a lot of names that we'll be calling out tonight. We know Joey Fisher from Stanley County loves to go deep into his bench and pull guys off. So you'll see probably a rotation of anywhere from 10 to 12 different players for Fisher. And one name that we will certainly be calling a lot tonight is freshman Miles Thompson from the Chamberlain Cubs. Now, he went for 28 in Chamberlain's game earlier here this week. An unbelievable performance from the freshman Thompson. He is kind of budding into one of the top players in the state as he's still got 3 years to go. We talked a little bit with Jalen Youthy in our Keys to Success segment, which we'll get here in a moment. But the Chamberlain Cubs are going to need guys like Miles Thompson. They're going to need 6'3" Tommy Knipling and 6'2" Riddick Big Eagle down in the post, because Stanley County brings a lot of different looks at you, not only with their speed on defense and their keen shooting on offense, but a lot of size in the post. We'll talk more about that when we introduce you to our starting lineups. But let's get to our Keys to Success. As always, and all season long on KGFX, our Keys to Success have been brought to you by Buff Nation. So let's hear a word from them, and then we'll talk to both head coaches against this highly anticipated matchup between Stanley County and Chamberlain.
This season, inflation never stops getting better, and you can become a valued member today with memberships starting at $30. Membership fees include inflation decals, discounted ticketing to events, free concession stand items, and so much more. If you're interested in becoming a member of Buff Nation, please contact Tate Gabriel at 605-222-5537.
As is customary, we'll start with the visiting team's head coach. Here is Jalen Youthy from the Chamberlain Cubs with what he wants to see out of his squad tonight, looking to pull off a big win. Here with head coach Jalen Youthy from the Chamberlain Cubs. Coach, down this final stretch of regular season, you played pretty much nothing but tough opponents, and you guys have played nothing but pretty much tough basketball up to this point. How does that benefit your guys coming into region bracket play?
Yeah, absolutely. We talk all season long about prepping essentially for regions, and this last essentially stretch of games has really helped us prepare us for what we expect tonight to be a tough battle too.
You guys got a lot of great older talent, but one of the most exciting players maybe in the state, freshman Miles Thompson. He just went for 28. How big is he going to be not only tonight, but for your program moving forward in the upcoming seasons?
Yeah, even as a freshman, he doesn't let the moment get too big, I think, and that's rare to find as in a freshman point guard. We kind of gave him the keys, I guess, early on and let him make some mistakes, and it's paid off as of late, and hopefully will continue for the next 4 years, essentially 4 years.
You certainly look at the stat sheets and it has paid off indeed. And Coach, going back to February 5th, you guys fall behind double digits in the first quarter. Your guys scrap and claw and fight their way back to this ball game, kind of been an MO of your team. You know, it's not kind of ideal to fall behind like that. How do you avoid that here tonight? Or maybe do you say, hey, look, we can kind of get these guys no matter what the game looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. It's never ideal, I think, to fall behind like we did, and we know that. coming in. Postseason basketball is always a little bit different than a middle of the January or early February regular season game, especially we had 3 that week. So we live and learn from it, and hopefully don't fall behind, and we don't expect to in this game, and expect it to be a close one.
You don't have to give away all your secrets. This is our keys to success here. So what is going to be your final message to your guys before you take the floor?
Just be calm and confident and play with each other. And that's what we've been telling them the whole time. There's the gyms, expect the gym to be packed, but we play as a one unit, and we'll be fine.
Best of luck, Coach. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That was head coach Jalen Youthy of the Chamberlain Cubs, and made some great points there. We talked about kind of this closing stretch of regular season, and they've had a couple losses, but boy, have they been close, and they've had some impressive wins at that. Their last win came against Miller, 58-49, a game that they did fall behind in a couple different times, but like we said, they scrapped, they clawed, they continue to fight. They never give up on a game. Stanley County certainly learned that on February 5th when they got up 18-2, 18-4. And then Chamberlain in that second half made it a 2-possession ball game. But you look back, they lose by 1 to Corsica Stickney, who will be playing Lyman tomorrow in the region postseason. They lose by 1 to Parker Marion, who sits at 11-9 on February 20th. Before that, it was a win against Hanson, 58-44. A confident win, though. Hanson has only 5 wins on the season. Before that, maybe one of the biggest wins in their program's history over recent years against Wagner, 66-58. Wagner sits at 14-6 on the season. And that is kind of what has been for Chamberlain and Jalen Youthy. It has been impressive wins. If it has been a loss, they have been close. They have been in just about every single game this season, and we don't expect anything less from the Cubs here tonight. Now let's flip to the other bench. Let's talk to head coach of the Stanley County Buffaloes, head coach Joey Fisher. Here's Stanley County head coach Joey Fisher. Coach, back again against Chamberlain. The last time you guys played, it was an awesome game. You got out to double-digit lead in the first quarter. Chamberlain came storming back as they've done all season long. What kind of respect do you have for Jalen Youthy and those Cubs guys on the other side of the bench?
Yeah, Jalen does a really good job with this program, and Chamberlain's one of those teams that they don't ever back down. Even that game against Miller, Miller went on a couple runs and stretched that lead out to 4 or 6 points, and Chamberlain didn't blink an eye, and they came back and gave it right back to Miller. And Jalen's done a really good job. You can see just over the last year since he took over, just the way they've gotten better and the way they've improved. And, they really buy into what he's doing. And that's what makes them a really difficult team is, when you get a team that buys into what their coach preaches, they start to believe a little bit. And they're really young in some areas, but they got some really nice, leaders on that team, and they really complement each other well. So ton of respect to him. Like they said, they battled last game, right? So I don't think this is a normal number 1 4 matchup. I think our region's really close in a lot of areas, and I think it's going to be a really good basketball game tonight.
You have had a very difficult and competitive region, and you kind of rolled us right into our next question, the buy-in thing. It's something you've talked about all season long about your guys. You said there's a different level of buy-in this season. There's a lot of belief, more guys stepping up. How has that been for you as a head coach, knowing that you've been in so many close games and knowing that you trust those guys on the floor to get you out of there with wins?
For sure. Last year we lost a couple close ones late at the buzzer, and that's the difference of you being a 1 seed in a region, or that's the difference of you being higher if you get out of your region. So we looked at that last year as we dropped a couple ones we felt we shouldn't. We got a tough matchup, we got knocked out. So we basically said, how are we gonna get over the hump and turn the tide? And we kind of looked at it this year, and we're closing out close games. We've had a lot of buy-in from this group of seniors, and when you got a really good group of seniors at the backbone of your program, right? So everybody's going to follow what your seniors do. So those seniors have had a great buy-in, done a really good job, and the guys below have followed suit. And you can see it with the success we've had this year, but now is our opportunity to get over the hump, right? We got 1 game to get into that SODAC. We got a chance to go 1-0 tonight. We preached, what are we going to do different to get us over the hump? Well, tonight's our opportunity to showcase we're going to do it.
Yeah, you talked about those senior guys. It's an unbelievable senior class. How much of those guys meant to you and the other guys that are below them, the underclassmen that still get a ton of playing minutes, as a guy who loves to rotate players in off the bench, loves to get multiple guys multiple minutes? What have the seniors meant to those underclassmen, and how has that just kind of done the saying, rising tide lifts all boats?
The seniors, they show you exactly what you want to be in a successful program, right? It shows you that you can't just pick up basketball 3 months out of the year and be really good. We preach our guys to be, multi-sport athletes, and that's what we want them to do. But, you got to still find time, perfect that craft, ball handle, shoot. These seniors, they did a really good job of buying in the off-season workout and the programs, and it translated down to the younger guys. And, they've seen the success the last 3 years from those those old guys, right? Now they're to their senior year, and you just see the impact they've had on, this group, the middle school groups, and even down to those youth groups. People are excited about Buffalo basketball. So, they're the standard. They're what you want to be, but, they got big goals to still accomplish, and they're not happy with where they're at right now either.
One of the more successful seasons of this program's history. And, you talked about, hey, going 1-0 tonight at sitting in 18-2. What's the final message to your guys about treating this like any other game?
It's like we said, it's going to be a packed house, fun atmosphere, but, records are 0-0. So it's a brand new season. We got an opportunity to go 1-0 tonight, and that's just the goals. We can't worry about what happens in the rest of the state. We can't worry about what happens outside of these doors. We got at 7:00 tonight, we've got a game against a really good basketball team. And, that's what we got to do. And it's a chance to go 1-0, and we're going to play our best game tonight and play the full 32 minutes, and we're going to see how the cards fall.
Best of luck, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And, speaking of those seniors, 4 of the starting 5 for Stanley County are in their final year of high school, and they have been so crucial to the production and success of this team. It's really rare that you find a senior class with so much impact like Joey Fisher has had with this team here this season. And going to be a very fun matchup between 2 very good teams smattered with talent across the board. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll introduce you to both starting lineups. We'll meet our game officials. We'll talk some more X's and O's and get this one underway here on KGFX and stream live on drgnews.com. It's regional postseason basketball. It's Stanley County hosting the Chamberlain Cubs here on a Friday night. Back in 3 minutes after this.
You might ask, when is the best time to start saving for retirement? Well, the answer is simple. It's today. Jared Evans, your Chamberlain Edward Jones financial advisor, is here. He will work with you to build a plan for your ideal retirement by identifying your unique goals and will keep you on track to achieve them. The sooner you get started, the better. Jared Evans at 645-734-4106 to schedule an appointment today. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Future communications is focused to school sports and developers and providing full service. Future communications has been running for the field service since 1952. Today, Future provides full service for 100% of their customers, which means fans instruments are remote. Problems and much more.
At First Dakota, we don't like to brag about ourselves. So when Forbes named us South Dakota's best bank again, we faced a dilemma. Thankfully, we have the state's best customers, so we're happy to brag about them instead. After all, they inspire us every day. The farmers, the business owners, the families. Without them, we'd be just another bank. So thank you to all of our amazing customers. We wouldn't be here without you. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
Zander Auto Parts, the only locally owned auto parts store in the Fort Pierre area, has been serving Central South Dakota for over 40 years. They're a trusted name when it comes to automotive parts and supplies. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to assisting you in finding exactly what you need. Convenience is also a top priority. They're located at 500 Sioux Avenue, Zander Auto Parts. They support area youth in their activities. When you need auto parts or supplies, shop Zander Auto Parts, your auto value parts store.
Stanley County Booster Club is joining the Stanley County School District in kicking off the Buffalo Legacy campaign. They joined the school in thanking First National Bank and their challenge of matching $275,000, which will directly impact Stanley County Schools' investments into the students, staff, and school with CTE programs, technology, and infrastructure upgrades. Thank you, First National Bank and this great community for your support in our schools and the Stanley County Booster Club.
Well, we're about 5 or so minutes away from tipping off, and what an environment here inside of Parkview Auditorium as the crowds continue to fill out here. We are so excited to be bringing you coverage here tonight on KGFX and streaming live on drgnews.com. Hello, everybody. Justin Cower coming to you here tonight alongside with Haley Hansen, who's back in the studio. We've got some great camera work going on tonight. If you're watching on Go Buffs Live, thanks to John Stewart and Brian Menning. If you're joining us on drgnews.com at the KGFX station page, that camera work is being done by yours truly. Very intriguing matchup between these two teams that kind of pride themselves on fights, and they pride themselves also on their defense, and that's what's going to be crucial here this evening. We've seen Stanley County turn a lot of their offensive kind of production out of their defensive prowess. We've seen a lot of Brendan Bothwell and Weston Prince, who will be coming off the bench tonight. They do it with steals. They get in between passes. They rarely let a pass go unattended. Active hands, jarring balls free, and that leads to some open breaks and some big buckets. On the outside, it'll be Eddie Duffy and Paxton Deal, who will knock down a majority of the threes if they're falling for Stanley County. And for Chamberlain, you'll be hearing me say the name Miles Thompson quite a bit. But I think where this game might be won tonight is not outside the arc. It's not on the defensive side. It's going to be in the post. These two teams are well equipped with some tall players and some big players at that. And it's going to be very important for Chamberlain to kind of keep up with the size of Stanley County. Now, the Buffaloes going to win that size battle ever so slightly, and that's thanks to Trevor Caldwell and Tegan Breitag. Tegan Breitag stands at 6'4", and he's built like the Hulk. Wide shoulders, farm strength from Breitag. Trevor Caldwell, 6'8", and he has grown immensely throughout this offseason and throughout this season. We worked on his footwork continuously, working to get a better shot inside the post and inside the paint. A couple big guys for Chamberlain that have played well throughout the season as well. Blaze Knipling at 6'4", and Tommy Knipling at 6'3". Those two guys, those four guys really, are going to be crucially important for their team's cause tonight, and we can't wait to see how it all plays out. The guys that are going to be keeping things in between the lines tonight, our great officials, are introduced to you by the South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division of Consumer Protection.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase. Consumers cannot rely on a text message to be truthful. If you receive a message regarding a fine for missing jury duty, your utilities being shut off for non-payment, toll road fines, or you've won a sweepstakes, these are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
And our three great officials, as they really only call on the best of the best this time of year, will be made up of Jeremy Michelson, Corey Edson, and Mark Logan. As they introduce themselves, well, both of these head coaches know these guys by heart now, but they shake hands and get themselves introduced. Both teams make their way back to the bench for the announcements of our starting lineup. So let's introduce you to the 10 on the floor and the 2 on the bench leading both of these teams. As customary, we will introduce you to the visiting Chamberlain Cubs to start. They will be led by a guy we've mentioned a lot here on the Bank West pregame show, point guard freshman Miles Thompson, who stands at 5'10". This kid can explode at the drop of a hat, and Jalen Youthie would love to see him go for another 20-plus point performance here on the road tonight. He'll be alongside senior guard at 5'11", Braxton Harrison, who wears the number 2, Riddick Big Eagle, and the number 10, a senior guard at 6'2". Another guy that can light up our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Inside, it'll be 6'3" junior Tommy Knipling alongside Blaze Knipling, who stands at 6'4". Those two guys are senior leaders for the Cubs. And of course, the Cubs are led by head coach Jalen Youthie. For the Stanley County Buffaloes, very familiar starting 5 tonight. Brendan Bothwell will be leading the charge on defense tonight. Senior guard at 5'8", wearing the number 4 is Brendan Bothwell. Outside sniper Eddie Duffy, the only junior in this starting 5, stands at 6'2". Paxton Deal, alongside his co-captain Duffy, will be in the starting 5 tonight. He's a 6-foot tall senior guard. And inside, it'll be Tegan Breitag at 6'4", the senior forward and center, alongside 6'8" senior center Trevor Caldwell, and the Buffaloes are led by Joey Fisher. We're about to have our national anthem. A packed house stands on their feet, so we step away for our final break in our Bank West pregame show. When we come back, it's time for tip here on Friday night. KGFX hosting some regional postseason basketball. We're also streaming live on drgnews.com.
Ready to get outside and play? Whether it's a new boat for the water or an RV for camping trips across the plains, Oahe Federal Credit Union's Rec Special is here. Their recreational loan special offers terms up to 12 years and 90 days with no payments, so you can focus on the fun now and pay later. Some restrictions apply. For full details and eligibility requirements, visit Oahe Federal Credit Union at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, federally insured by the NCUA.
Imagine what it would look like if we didn't have companies to haul away our unwanted things.
Yeah.
Take a second to think about it. Not a pretty picture, is it? Byrie Brothers in Chamberlain can and does clean up that picture. They're here to help you with your disposal needs, whether it's weekly pickup of household trash or you have a special project that needs a large container. Byrie Brothers will help you with what you need done. Give them a call at 605-234-5771. That's 234-5771. Byrie Brothers in Chamberlain. Satisfaction is guaranteed. Call today.
Access Health for Pierre welcomes new and established patients, offering chronic and acute care for all ages, including evaluations for illness and injuries, immunizations, lab testing, wellness exams, and DOT and sports visits. Same-day appointments are available, and most major insurances are accepted. Good luck this season, athletes, from Access Health for Pierre, assuring access to quality healthcare.
The best one-stop for hunting and fishing is the Oasis Pump and Pack in Oklahoma. Open 6 a.m. until 11 p.m., we are your fast and easy one-stop for hot food from the Hot Stuff Kitchen, with food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, along with grab-and-go sandwiches and deli items. Common orders at 234-5325. We have the area's largest selection of ammo plus hunting and fishing supplies, now featuring the Coffee Cantina Coffee Shop. Oasis Pump and Pack in Oklahoma, proud of our area students and their participation.
When you need building supplies, there's no need to go anywhere except to Bauman Lumber in Fort Pierre. Bauman Lumber is locally owned and offers quality products, expert advice, free estimates, and free local delivery for large or small projects. Whether it's a home improvement project, remodel job, or all new construction, they even welcome special orders. Quality building materials and affordable prices for residential or commercial projects can be found at Bauman Lumber, 1223 Sale Barn Road, Fort Pierre, or call 223-9762.
Back moments away from tip-off as the starting fives are announced for either side. Chamberlain introducing Miles Thompson to start. The Cubs will be in their road reds here tonight. Chamberlain across the chest in block letters in white. Their numerals in white as well. They've got a white stripe around either sleeve and collar, and red shorts with white stripes around and the Chamberlain logo on the right pant leg. For Stanley County, they're in their home whites. They've got buffaloes across the chest in cursive lettering, outlined in buffalo gold and Stanley County purple. Their numerals the same. A purple stripe around either side of the sleeves and purple collar as well. Their shorts are at the nice checkerboard with the gold and purple down either side as well. Buffalo logo on the left and right side of the shorts. Now it's time for the Stanley County's starting five to be introduced. We remind you again, we just mentioned our starters for either side. For the visiting Chamberlain Cubs, they've got Miles Thompson alongside Braxton Harrison, Riddick Big Eagle, Tommy and Blaze Knipling, led by Jalen Youthy. For the Stanley County Buffaloes, as we said, familiar starting five: Brendan Bothwell, Eddie Duffy, Paxton Deal, Keegan Brightag, and Trevor Caldwell, led by head coach Joey Fisher. Great crowd from Chamberlain on hand here tonight. They loaded up a couple buses. Their student section made their way out tonight. They've got their America gear on. A lot of red, white, and blue behind the Chamberlain bench. Standing room only here on this side of the gym. Lower bowl completely packed out for Stanley County faithful fans who made their way over here to Fort Pierre, along with some Pierre Governor fans. There's some Governor Green in the stands here tonight. All the way up to where John Stewart and Brian Menning are located. It is a packed house. We're set up here in the corner of Parkview Auditorium. Some say the best seat in the building. I would have to agree. Love this setup here. We're set up, as I mentioned, in the quarter with the benches on the opposite side of the floor from our direction. Stanley County will be coming our direction in their home white uniforms. Chamberlain will be attacking away. Meeting at the middle for the tip. It's Tegan Breitag. He'll be challenged by Tommy Knipling, 6'4" for 6'3". Student sections on their feet. Everybody on the edge of their seat. As our official makes his way with the game ball towards midcourt. We are up and underway, and the tip will be won by Chamberlain, but right into the hands of Eddie Duffy. So Stanley County will start with this first possession of the ball game. Caldwell on the right wing, trying to force feed it inside to Breitag. It's taken away immediately by Riddick Big Eagle. Big Eagle loses the dribble up the floor, bounces out of play. And alternating turnovers to start the night. Maybe some nerves on hand, but they were going to say that was deflected last by Stanley County, so we'll stay with the Chamberlain Cubs. You can wipe out that turnover off the board here. Bringing you scores on our Wegner Auto scoreboard here tonight as they flip it into Braxton Harrison, who hands off to the superstar freshman Miles Thompson. Up top for Big Eagle. 2-3 defense here for the Buffaloes. Ball on the left wing. Into the corner they go for Big Eagle. Loses the handle. Almost goes out of bounds right in front of the cheerleaders, but he stays with it. They feed it inside. Underhand shovel. Up and good for Tommy Knipling, who puts the Cubs on the board first. Axton Deal running point picked up immediately at the midcourt line by Miles Thompson. They go to Trevor Caldwell. Inside off the window goes Caldwell, and he answers back with a 2 of his own. Tied up at 2 here in the first minute of play. Miles Thompson for 3. Clubs off the back iron. No good. Deflected to Duffy. He gets the rebound, and the Buffaloes are moving forward. On the right wing is Duffy. Again, Stanley County attacking this direction. They go back to Caldwell in the paint. He can't hit the put-up. Loose ball reeled in by Harrison. Cubs will force ahead. Miles Thompson hassled on the left wing by Paxton Deal. He swings into the left corner. Braxton Harrison fakes the kick outside, goes up for the shot, no good, and we've got a foul committed. Our first of the ball game by Braxton Harrison as he whacks Brendan Bothwell across the arm, trying to strip it free from the 5'8" senior, Brendan Bothwell. Offense has been so crucial for Stanley County throughout the season. They can score a ton of points, but their defense has been almost equally, maybe more important for Joey Fisher. Brendan Bothwell has led that defensive charge. Leading the shooting charge is Eddie Duffy, and he knocks down a 3 from the right wing. And Joey Fisher would love to see Duffy get going here in the early going as Stanley County holds a 3.5-2 lead. Just about 2 minutes gone in our opening frame. Up top they go for Tommy Knipling. Chance for the Sodak 16 on the line here between these two teams. Got to get your best performance from both sides. Here's a beautiful drive. Great stutter step by Miles Thompson in the lane, and he floats it up with the right hand and drops it in for the 2. Paxton Deal shaking away from Thompson, spins on his pivot foot, kicks off to his right. Eddie Duffy's got it right wing, fed inside to Bothwell, loses the dribble, but right to Breitag. Breitag way outside, swings to Deal. Deal wants 3 from the far side wing. That's no good. Breitag with the board. Turning around, drawing the foul is Breitag, and 2 free throws upcoming. How important will free throws be tonight? That is indeed a question that has to be asked. You get into these close games, 2 really good teams, as Joey Fisher said in our Keys to Success segment. It's not your standard 4-versus-1 matchup. These are 2 teams that really could have an argument at both being a 1 seed if you just looked at the talent pool. As Breitag knocks down the first. Breitag with a deep breath. And heaves the second. No good. Caldwell reaching for the rebound. It's pulled in by Blaze Knipling. Chamberlain up ahead. Miles Thompson wants 3 from the right wing. That's off the mark, but right into the hands of Tommy Knipling, who goes up uncontested, and he's got his 4th points, and we're tied back up at 6. Duffy controls on the left wing. Weston Prince quickly into the game. Checked out Brendan Bothwell. Prince sees some daylight down the lane, now turns around, kicks along baseline for Caldwell, who swings out for Deal. Deal short arms the 3, gets his own rebound. Long cross-court pass. Duffy's got it in the corner. 3 is good for Eddie Duffy, who's got 2 in the first quarter, and you could tell that he was going to drop that one in. He vacated the area the second it left his fingertips. Good shooters know when it's going down. Chamberlain trying to answer back, and a foul committed by Teagan Breitag as the turnaround jumper for Blaze Knipling no good, but the foul committed on the floor, so no free throws upcoming for the Cubs, just the possession. 9-6 Stanley County lead, 4:44 left in the first quarter. And if you blink, you might miss this game. Two very quick teams up and down the hardwood. And go up top for the big man, Blaze Knipling at the top of the key. The pass deflected away, but Miles Thompson able to chase it down. Knipling's got it on the right elbow. Cross-court pass to Miles Thompson, hounded by Paxton Deal. Thompson goes baseline, picks up the dribble, guarded by Caldwell, floats it towards midcourt. 15 on the shot clock for the Chamberlain Cubs. Riddick Big Eagle gives up the pass to Thompson. Thompson pulls a three from the top of the key. That's no good. Rebound pops right to Duffy. Duffy running behind the back. Nifty dribble into the corner. Deal. Three-pointer on the way. On the screws. 3 made threes for the Stanley County Buffaloes in the first quarter. Has them out in front by 6. 2 from Duffy. 1 from Paxton Deal. And a couple subs coming in, waiting at the scores table for both sides. Baseline jumper up and no good with the left hand by Riddick Big Eagle. Popcorns around momentarily. Rebound secured by Trevor Caldwell. Duffy will slow it down. Swing it to Deal. Deal floats it into the elbow for Caldwell. Caldwell standing flat-footed, spinning on his pivot foot now. Kicks it back to the logo for Duffy. Duffy fakes to the right, dribbles to the left, swings to Deal. Deal kicks back out. Duffy thought about a logo three, takes 2 steps forward and knocks down another. 9 points for Eddie Duffy, all off 3-point makes in the first quarter, and it's a 9-point Stanley County lead. Timeout taken by the Chamberlain Cubs. We'll tell you what Actegra has to say in 30 seconds on KGFX. It's 15-6 Buffaloes in the first quarter.
Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Wind Circle, operating since 1990.
Needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Out of the Agtegra timeout, we remind you that Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. The threes have been falling for the Buffaloes. They lead 15-6. Here with 3:16 remaining in the first quarter. Chamberlain, no stranger to this situation. They trailed 18-4 in their regular season matchup. Chamberlain was able to scrap and claw back to a 2-possession ballgame. See what Jalen Youthy has drawn up out of the timeout. It was almost given away. Now Paxton Deal fighting for a loose ball. We've got a tie-up on the hardwood in the lane as Tommy Knipling goes to the floor with Paxton Deal. Alternating possession favors the Chamberlain Cubs. So the inbound will come from Miles Thompson. Will swing into Big Eagle. As the Cubs kick it around the outside of the arc, Jack Deal, Carson Bourne, and Jax Hofteaser have checked in. Miles Thompson trying to get it going. Left wing three, no good. Hofteaser goes up, and we've got another tie-up on the floor. Outstanding play made by number 12, Tommy Knipling. That was Hofteaser's rebound, and he had the rights to it, but Knipling with strong hands got in there, tied him up. The possession arrow favors Stanley County. But in the grand scheme of things, Tommy Knipling just certainly earned his team another possession. Moving forward, and now Miles Thompson has a steal. Thompson trying to go coast to coast. Jack Deal strips it away. And 2 great defensive plays by either side. Counterparts going toe-to-toe. Miles Thompson took it away from Jack Deal. Jack Deal took it away right back. On the deflection, it rolled off the right thigh of Jack Deal, so it stays with the Cubs. Down on the far end of the floor. They go inside. Blaze Knipling trying to turn around. Lost the dribble. Taken away by Jack Deal. Deal sprinting down the floor. He has a pop free. Which way will they point? They say it stays with the Buffaloes. And we told you these were 2 really defensively sound teams, and they're showing that off here in the first quarter. Paxton Deal to inbound along the own baseline. Floats it in up top for Carson Bourne. Carson Bourne feeds into Hofteaser. Hofteaser on the right block. Turns and spins and goes off the window for the two. Dax Hofteaser knows he's going to be a big piece of this Stanley County program moving forward with as many big seniors that'll be departing this season. He makes a big bucket there to make it 17-6. Inside they go and kick it back out to the Chamberlain Cubs. Big Eagle swings to the left wing. Miles Thompson with a three. Just can't get the touch going as the rebound is pulled in off the missed shot by Duffy. Jack Deal now across midcourt, dribbling towards the top of the key. Swings to the right wing for Deal. Deal circumventing the arc. Back to Jack Deal. He goes baseline. Pump makes the shot. Gives to Hofteaser. Hofteaser with the right hand. Up and in. And Hofteaser's got 4 on consecutive buckets. 19-6. Stanley County cruising here with 1:20 to play in our opening frame. Corner 3 on the way. Traven Rubidoux. No good. Too long. Duffy with the rebound. Up ahead quickly for Deal. Deal swings cross court. Jack Deal drives baseline. Flutter with the right hand. No good. And therefore the rebound were the Cubs. Quickly up ahead. Gorgeous underhanded shovel pass inside, but taken away by Duffy as he tiptoes along the baseline. That was a beautiful play from Riddick Big Eagle inside to Miles Thompson, but they couldn't handle it. And Eddie Duffy doing a tightrope act gets the possession back for Stanley County. Meanwhile, a fadeaway jumper for Paxton Deal is no good, but he draws the contact. And we'll head to the free throw line for 2. Tegan Breitag, the only Stanley County free throw shooter. Only free throw shooter in this game thus far for that matter. He went 1 for 2 on his first trip. Now we've got a whistle on the floor. Looks like some sweat may need to be mopped up down there underneath. And so we'll take an Agtegra 30-second timeout. Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. We will actually keep it right here because this could be cleaned up rather quickly. Just got to keep my great technical director and board operator Haley Hansen on her toes. And now the Avera medical staff is going to come out, and they're pointing at one spot on the floor here on the near side. Might be some blood or something of that sort because she is putting on one of those plastic gloves and going to pull out a wet wipe to clean it up. Great work from our Avera medical staff here. 19-6. We've got 46.6 to play in our opening quarter. Eddie Duffy leading both teams in scoring with 9, all of which have come from 3-point makes. And, of course, we'll keep an eye on all the other scores from around the state. Inside this bracket, Mobridge Pollock and Cheyenne Eagle Butte facing off on Star 99 tonight as both teams make their way back from their respective benches. Looks like it was Carson Bourne who had a little bit of leakage. And now we're going to continue our timeout as she is called back onto the floor. And there's another spot of blood, it looks like. And she is wiping up just under the nose of the Buffalo logo that stretches from top of the key to the other top of the key. Paxton Deal trying to stay warm, working and shooting some free throws on air. And the cleanup crew continues. As it looks like she got just about all of it, well, as so we thought. And we could have gotten a couple ads played and given some of our great sponsors some love in this little bit of a break. Leading the Chamberlain Cubs is Tommy Knipling, though they only have 6 points. Knipling's got 4 of them. Now Tate Gabriel has made his way out onto the floor. Not sure what they want Tate Gabriel to do about all of this. Well, we use this time to take a quick peek at the scores from inside the region. It is currently Mobridge Pollock trailing Cheyenne Eagle Butte by 3. Score is 11-8 in that one as they start the second quarter. Of course, Mobridge Pollock girls fell to West Central last night. West Central putting together quite the season on both sides, boys and girls. So now it looks like they've gotten it all. They cleaned up just about every spot of hardwood on this gorgeous floor as Paxton Deal eyes the first free throw after a long break, splashes it in casually for his 4th points. 20-6, Stanley County adding a lead, but of course, against this Cubs team, no lead is safe. Second free throw up and no good for Paxton Deal. Final 10-second difference in game clock and shot clock. On the left elbow, Blaze Knipling kicks back out. There's a drive from Rubidoux. Underhand shovel pass inside. Beautiful finish from Jarrett Clagis, who goes up and off the glass for the 2. Chamberlain really needed that bucket to stop the bleeding. And Stanley County will slow it down here with the shot clock shut off and 15 seconds to play. Paxton Deal at midcourt. Started by Big Eagle, swings to the right for Bothwell. Bothwell hassled by Thompson, dribbling with the left hand. Thompson jars it free and down to the hardwood, and we've got a whistle and a foul committed by Brendan Bothwell as he was going for the loose ball. Man, Miles Thompson, so impressive. Again, just a freshman, but he does it on both sides of the basketball. He can score at will. And we've seen him already force 2 Stanley County turnovers here. Paxton Deal and Eddie Duffy will head to the benches. Joey Fisher tries to steal a couple extra seconds of rest. Final 3 seconds. Inside feed. Gorgeous play leads to a Blaze Knipling bucket. It was Riddick Big Eagle sprinting through the lane, dishing it off to Knipling, and at the buzzer, he lays it in for the 2. So Chamberlain fights back at the last couple seconds of this first quarter, cuts the deficit down to 10, 20-10 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Back in 30 seconds with quarter number 2 here on KGFX and DRGnews.com.
While
we combine quality customer service and experience with the right technology to meet your needs. Our cybersecurity certified technicians will make sure your systems are secure. Services offered are video and data cabling, service and support contracts, cutting-edge camera systems to door security devices. WindCircle has many hardware options: Dell, HP, Cisco, SonicWall, and Ruckus, to name a few. Our staff has over 30 years of combined network design and cabling experience at your disposal. Call us today, 605-224-1111, and request a free quote. Again, that's 605-224-1111.
Here as the weather shortly turns. As you all know by now, we had snow this afternoon, and we're going to have 72 on Sunday. That is South Dakota weather at its finest. Hello, everybody. Justin Cowart welcoming you back into a packed house in Parkview Auditorium. 20-10. Stanley County leads after 1. Chamberlain answering back in the final couple seconds, and really the final minute and a half of that first quarter. Starting to see shades of that February 5th matchup between these two teams when Stanley County got in front by 14. But Chamberlain had answers then. They've got answers now, and they start with this second quarter possession. Turnaround jumper, no good for Blaze Knipling. Too strong. Partially deflected on the way up. And Stanley County comes away with the rebound. Paxton Deal will dribble along the near sideline. Pulls Tegan Breitag out for a screen, doesn't use it. Hands off to Duffy on the left wing. Deal gets it back, thought about 3, covered up nicely, takes it into the lane. Perfect pass, threading the needle as Bothwell kicks to Breitag. Breitag jump step up and good off the glass. I don't know how that Paxton Deal pass got through to Brendan Bothwell. Went about through 2 Chamberlain defenders and 1 Stanley County offensive player. Chamberlain back on the other end looking for another bucket, and Jarrett Clagis has got it. So Chamberlain's finding a little bit of rhythm in the paint. Jarrett Clagis has 4. Blaze Knipling with 2. But production coming on the inside for the Cubs. That's a good sign. Duffy along the baseline. Buffalo's out in front by 10. Tegan Breitag on the left elbow. Backs into the lane. Slips a bit. Now kicks it back out to Deal. The time on the shot clock, 14 and counting. Back Eddie Duffy driving the lane. Draws the foul. Couldn't get the bucket to fall, but he can get the 2. As it was a shooting foul. First team foul for either side here in the second quarter with 6:44 to play. Eddie Duffy's got 9 already. And this would be his first point that didn't come via 3. I told you Chamberlain's student section is nice and healthy and full. So is Stanley County's. As Eddie Duffy gets a round of applause from the Stanley County student section as he splashes in the first free throw. You got the spirit fingers coming from the Buff section over on the other end of the floor. Second on the way for Duffy is just as good as the first. Duffy's got 11. Stanley County 4 of 6 from the free throw line in the first half. Miles Thompson with a long jumper up and no good. Went halfway down and popped out right into the hands of Paxton Deal. Stanley County nursing a 12-point lead. Here with 6:28 to play in the first half. Duffy on the right wing. Dying thought about three. Kicks up top to Bothwell. Bothwell out of his hands quickly to Paxton Deal. Circling around, Paxton Deal on the right wing. Thought about a deep three himself, but gives up that look and kicks out to Duffy. 14 on the shot clock. NBA range three on the way for Eddie Duffy. That is no good. Bounces off the rim, and Miles Thompson goes tumbling down as he chases down the loose ball. Fortunately for the Cubs, Thompson is back up and moving around and did not touch that loose ball, so it's going back the other way for the Cubs. Chamberlain, who weathered the storm against Miller when they fell behind and came back to get that win, weathering the storm nicely here on a snowy Friday afternoon and evening in Fort Pierre. A whistle and a foul committed by Weston Prince as he caught the arm of Jarrett Clay just trying to reach in and jar that basketball free. That'll be the first team foul for Stanley County here now with 5:58 to go in the second quarter. Both team has one. Riddick Big Eagles side on pass. Inside going to Jarrett Clagis, and that pass was too tall for Tommy Knipling, who chased it down on the baseline. Rose up as he was falling out of bounds and was able to save it, but his foot was on the baseline when he extended that right leg. So when he touched it, that drew the whistle. Stanley County gets it back, looking to stretch out the lead. They go inside to 6'8" Trevor Caldwell. Caldwell with the left hand touches it in. Talked about the improvement that Caldwell has made in the offseason to this point, and it's showing up here tonight. He's got 4 and another whistle. A bright tag going to be whistled for the foul, and Caldwell will come over and play leader for Breitag. Breitag is such an emotional player, and he wears it on his sleeve. It's always so much fun to watch Joey Fisher and Tegan Breitag. I'm getting those two confused quite a bit tonight. First free throw up, does a 180 spin around the rim and out for Tommy Knipling. That is robbery, as the first free throw of the night for Chamberlain is no good. Joey Fisher and Tegan Breitag have full-on conversations all throughout the night as Knipling splashes in the second. 26-13, 5:15 to play here in the first half. Stanley County leading the charge. Eddie Duffy kicks to the far side corner. Fadeaway three on the way. Low percentage shot for Paxton Deal. Rebound pulled in by the Cubs. Long pass up ahead for Miles Thompson. Too tall for Tommy Knipling. Seen a couple of those here tonight. Some Chamberlain fans think that the pass was touched by Stanley County. Chamberlain fans are distraught back behind the scores table, but the possession will stay with the Buffaloes. I didn't see any Buffaloes deflect that pass or even get close to putting a finger on it. So it seems the officials made the right call. Here's a drive from Paxton Deal. Euro step, bounce pass inside to Caldwell. And that was about as easy of a bucket as Trevor Caldwell's going to see all postseason long, thanks to the beautiful finesse touch from Paxton Deal. Euro step, and then the kind of swing around bounce pass went around the defender. Looking to answer back is Traven Rubidoux, and he knocks down the three. That's a big bucket for the Cubs. They needed that desperately. Cut it back to a 12-point deficit, 28-16, 4:20 to go on our Wagner Auto scoreboard here in the second quarter. Carson Bourne dribbling towards the elbow, kicks out to Prince. Prince gets a screen from Bourne. Bourne gets it back as he rolled off the screen. That shot is rejected by Knipling. Long pass up ahead. Riddick Big Eagle trying to save it as it was too far out in front of him. He does. But he throws it behind his back right to Paxton Deal on some Chamberlain Cubs turnovers. He's kind of staving off the momentum swing. Caldwell on the outside of the arc. Swings. Duffy. Fadeaway three. Another one in for Eddie Duffy. Have a half, young man. 4 made threes on 4 3-point attempts for Eddie Duffy. He's got 14 here in our opening half. 3 on the way for Rubidoux. Just knocked down one. Couldn't hit this one. Rebounded by Deal. Eddie Duffy. Jump pass up ahead to Prince. Prince. Beautiful move. In the lane. Finishes off the glass. Timeout taken by Jalen Youthy. 33-16. Stanley County gets a standing ovation from the home crowd. Timeouts are sponsored by Agtegra. We'll tell you what they have to say here in 30 seconds on KGFX and DRGnews.com.
Farmco.
At Iverson Auto, our legacy is your trust. Whether you're in Mitchell or in Huron, we embody the values that have defined us for generations. We have been your partner on the road since 1948.
We bring decades of expertise to ensure your journey begins with confidence. Our goal is to turn your visit into a memorable experience, leaving you with a smile and peace of mind.
Iverson Auto of Mitchell and Huron are here to make your car buying experience smooth and enjoyable every step of the way.
Visit us online at iversonauto.com.
When you're thinking of a new or used car, motorcycle, pickup, or RV, think of us. We make all sorts of vehicle loans. We can set you up with payments that fit your budget. So if you have getting some new wheels in mind, stop by and see us. We'll get you the right loan. Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. We're big on you.
We're small enough to know your name, but we're big on you.
Great programs. Out of the Agtegra timeout, Jalen Youthie has been in a crouch for the entirety of the second quarter, just watching on intently as this is thrown inside off the hands of Jarrett Clagis. That was kind of altered by Jack's Hoff-teaser in the lane. Clagis tried to save it, and a last gasp throw backwards over his head. His foot was on the baseline. Hey, you can't ding Jarrett Clagis for not trying. That was nearly a gorgeous save. Back on the other end, Stanley County gets to work. Eddie Duffy goes up in traffic, and that is no good. Loose ball rolls over towards our direction in the near side corner. Braxton Harrison had it in bounds, and Jack Deal, who was out of bounds, caught a bullet throw from Harrison, who was trying to throw it off of the out-of-bounds player, Jack Deal. But it stays with Stanley County. Eddie Duffy, a step back three. He checked from the wing. He is white hot again. Did this back in February. He's doing it here in March. Another three. That's his fifth of the first half, and Stanley County has a 20-point lead. Hoff-teaser in the lane, blocks the shot, but is called for the foul. Eddie Duffy is seeing a rim the size of a hula hoop right now. He is 5 for 5 on 3-point attempts here tonight. He's got 17. First free throw up and no good for Tommy Knipling. A lot of impressive players for the Chamberlain Cubs. And they may be playing with a little bit of nerves right now. I think both sides are certainly feeling the nerves, as Knipling misses both free throws. Both had low trajectory. And now Paxton Deal going to get called for a carry as he made his way across midcourt in front of the scorer's table. Now, Chamberlain is not afraid to play from behind. That's no secret. But with a 20-point deficit facing them right now, Jalen Youthie needs his boys to start making a couple baskets here on the outside of these final 2 minutes and 30 seconds, rather, of this second quarter. Gorgeous feed inside from Thompson. Paxton Deal going to get called for the foul. Tommy Knipling went up for the 2. Then he won't, but Miles Thompson should get an assist if Knipling can knock down one of these 2 free throws. That pass was simply spectacular. Fit it in between a very tight window of 2 Stanley County defenders, and Tommy Knipling drains the first. 2 of 5 from the stripe are the Chamberlain Cubs thus far here tonight. 4 of 6. On the other end are the Buffaloes. Knipling, who missed his last 2 free throws, knocks down these 2. Duffy quickly to the left wing, spins and peels it back out. Up top for Bothwell. Bothwell will back up, guarded by Thompson. Thompson not giving him much space, understandably so. Duffy's got it on the left wing up top for Paxton Deal. Paxton Deal swings to Jack Deal. Jack Deal right to the teeth of the defense. Kicks it outside. Bothwell 3 on the way. Low shot, no good. Leaves Knipling here for the board. Now Miles Thompson, running point, has it up the floor. Swings to his left for Big Eagle. Baseline jumper for Tommy Knipling, and he drains it. Great touch there from Tommy Knipling. Cuts this deficit down to 16. 1:45 to play. Second quarter action, 36-20 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Stanley County with another turnover as Eddie Duffy rifled a pass towards Paxton Deal, who was on the baseline for a moment, then started to scoot out towards the arc. The pass went behind Deal. And now Chamberlain looking to carry the momentum into the CHS River Plains halftime break. Miles Thompson right into the chest of Weston Prince will draw the foul. And that will send the Cubs to the line, as it was the 15th foul for Stanley County in the second quarter. And a pretty clean second quarter for Chamberlain in terms of fouls. They've only committed one. Miles Thompson looking to improve the 50% free throw percentage here tonight for the Cubs. First one on the way with gorgeous spin is in for Thompson's third point. Miles Thompson shakes down the arms, dribbles a couple times with the right hand, now fires the second free throw, and it is perfect. So Thompson's got 4, and it's a 14-point deficit for Chamberlain. Stanley County been held scoreless for what feels like an eternity, with as potent as their offense has been. And here another near steal as Carson Bourne tried to go cross-court here to the near side wing for Duffy. And Riddick Big Eagle read that one like a book. Had he intercepted it, he would have had nothing but open floor all the way to the rack. Off the inbound pass, Deal goes to the corner. Duffy looking to keep his perfect three-point shooting going, but this one is no good. Coming away with the rebound is Trayvon Rubidoux. Trayvon Rubidoux with it up the floor, hands off to Riddick Big Eagle, left wing possession inside. They go to Knipling, back out to Rubidoux in the corner, spinning away from Duffy, up for the short floater, and the left-handed jumper is good. Rubidoux's got 5. It's an 11-point ball game. Chamberlain feeling the swing here with 51 seconds to play. Deal on the outside, over to Jack Deal. Here on the near side wing. Deal back up to Carson Bourne. Chamberlain feeling the momentum shift, has picked up the defense considerably, and they get another steal. High floating pass up ahead for Rubidoux. To the rack with the left hand, and Rubidoux's got it in. Timeout taken by Joey Fisher with 28.8 to play. Chamberlain feeling the rhythm here. We'll be back. Actually, let's keep it right here. Too good of action to go away to a break right now. Gives us plenty of time to remind you acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. It was a 10-point deficit for Chamberlain at the end of the first quarter, in a quarter in which they trailed by plenty more than that. Stanley County was able to stretch the lead out to 20 at one point in this first half, but Chamberlain, as we said, all night long, scrapping and clawing and getting back in the ball game. A couple quick buckets off some steals that made it 36-26. Stanley County still out in front. But again, all of the momentum possessed by the Cubs. Shot clock is shut off here with 28.3 to play in our second quarter. Paxton Deal will try at least to inbound. Chamberlain put some pressure up front. 3 players in the front court. And now they'll back off as Duffy will casually stroll towards midcourt. Duffy 5 of 6 from outside the arc here in the first 2 frames. Paxton Deal dribbling with the left hand. Moves over towards the scorer's table. Contested pass over to Duffy. Gives it back to Deal. Deal gets a screen from Brytag. Swings to Duffy on the right wing. Elbow jumper. No good. But a foul is called as Riddick Big Eagle got the right wrist of Duffy as he rose for the shot. 4.7 seconds left. Eddie Duffy will look for another 2 points from the Stripeys. 2 for 2 thus far. First one on the way is up and good. Brendan Bothwell, Weston Prince, Jax Hoff-Teaser, and Carson Bourne will check in for James Fosham, Jack Deal, Paxton Deal, Tegan Brytag. He now makes his way to the bench and again having an impassioned conversation with Joey Fisher. Duffy with a deep breath. It was his free throws that put away the Cubs the first time, and he knocks them both down again. Final 3 seconds. Rubidoux across midcourt. Got to put it up. Miles Thompson couldn't get it away in time for midcourt, and it would have been a near make for Thompson had he gotten it away. But we end the first half. Stanley County out in front, 38-26. on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Make sure you stick around here for our CHS River Plains halftime show. We'll take a look at some scores from around the state. We'll tally up individual scoring here on both sides and get you set for what promises to be a thrilling second half. Again, it's 38-26. Stanley County cruising here, but Chamberlain has something to say at the end of that first half. This one's going to be fun. Back in 3 minutes.
Now featuring the Coffee Cantina Coffee Shop, Oasis Pump and Pack in Oklahoma. Proud of our area students and their participation.
Stanley County Booster Club is joining the Stanley County School District in kicking off the Buffalo Legacy campaign. They join the school in thanking First National Bank and their challenge of matching $275,000, which will directly impact Stanley County Schools' investments into the students, staff, and school.
College is where ideas come to life, where you'll find your pack. And at Northern State University, you'll lead the pack. It's part of the Northern experience, right here in Aberdeen, South Dakota. This is where the next generation of leaders thrive. Through world-class facilities, hands-on experiences, and generous scholarship opportunities to impact every part of who you're meant to be. Don't just earn a degree, shape your future and experience Northern.
Do you have a new pair of jeans or a favorite shirt with a small tear or hole? Or your winter coat has a broken zipper? Don't throw them away. Call Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery in Fort Pierre to have your items fixed as good as new. They also provide hemming, other sewing services, as well as custom embroidery for a truly professional look and design. Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery is a proud supporter of all Stanley County school activities and wishes the student athletes the best of luck in the school year.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It's a particular kind of joy when people come together. There's really nothing like it. And isn't it amazing in that magic moment how all the distance between us, all the obstacles, just disappear? Wherever, whenever, however. Connecting you to what matters most.
Well, high here in this second half. Jericho Clay just with 2 made field goals, gets him to 4 points of plays. Knipling with the lone field goal. He has 2, which brings Chamberlain to 26 points. Stanley County was led by Eddie Duffy, who was incredibly impressive in that first half. 5 of 6 from outside the arc. He's got 19 total points, 5 of those buckets in his 19 were all 3-point makes. He hasn't made anything inside the arc except for 4 made free throws in his 2 trips to the line. Paxton Deal with a quiet half, much like Miles Thompson. One made free throw. He's got 4. Jax Hawkteaser checked in off the bench and made 2 field goals to get him to 4 points. Tegan Breitag has got 3. Trevor Caldwell with an impressive first half. He's got 6 to get Stanley County to 38. As we take a look around the state at some scores from Class A, Winter is leading Pine Ridge to start the second half, 33-32. Cheyenne Eagle Butte has been beaten up over Pollock defensively. Only 10 points scored in the first half for the Tigers. They trail Cheyenne Eagle Butte 22-10 over on Star 99. St. Thomas More leading Lee Deadwood 28-16 at the end of the first half. Groton area leading Millbank 36-23 rather, with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Papayalutta leading Littlewood by 8 at the halftime break, 30-22. Flandreau leading Baltic 33-21 midway through the third quarter. Rapid City Christian out in front of Hill City 36-22 at the halftime break. Wagner leading Parker Marion 46-31 as they get halfway through the third quarter. West Central leading Del Rapids by 21 to start the third period, 41-20. Webster area leading Britton Hecla 50-23 as they start the third quarter. Hamlet comfortably out in front of Sioux Valley midway through the third, 40-23. Lennox beat Vermilion by just a couple points, 53-49. That one has gone final. McCook Central Montrose leading Mount Vernon Plankinton 27-13 as they get underway in the third period. And Sioux Falls Christian flexing the muscles against Dakota Valley 83-54. Both teams make their way out of their locker rooms at the halftime break. So let's talk a little bit of strategy before we take one final break here in the CHS River Plains halftime. You know, Miles Thompson, as we mentioned, was quiet. Just one made bucket. He took quite a few threes and hasn't been able to knock one down yet. But I think the message from Jalen Youthy to freshman Miles Thompson, you know what you are made of. You know what you can do. Just keep shooting, and they will start to fall. And Chamberlain is ready for them to start falling because even though they haven't had their best offensive performance thus far, they have been really grinding for buckets, and they have found success on the inside. Now for Stanley County, it's been all Eddie Duffy, really. Trevor Caldwell and Jax Hawkteaser, along with Tegan Breitag, had their fair share of points inside the paint, but 19 from Duffy. I think Joey Fisher saying the same thing. And Jalen Youthy said to Miles Thompson, just keep shooting the rock. They are going to continue falling. And, it's kind of going to be a act of will. Can Chamberlain continue to mount this comeback here in the second half? And can Stanley County stave it off? Chamberlain took the halftime momentum into the break. We'll see if Stanley County can steal it back. These third and fourth quarters are going to be electric. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got the second half getting underway here in 90 seconds on KGFX. We're also streaming this one live on drgnews.com.
Imagine what it would look like.
A full shop shelf of filters means zero downtime later. During Grossenberg Implement's annual filter sale, save 16% on John Deere and Fleet Guard filters for all your equipment. From mowers to combines, now's the time to stock up before spring hits. And don't forget, we've got additional discounts happening now in the Grossenberg Parts Catalog. Ask about no interest, no payment options for those who qualify with their farm plan account. Grossenberg Implement. Stock up now, work worry-free later. Grossenberg.com.
What if the market shifts? What if the margins on your farm keep getting tighter? Simplot Grower Solutions is here to help. Simplot Crop Advisors know South Dakota corn, soybean, wheat, and other crops like you do because they live and work here. So, even if the market shifts or the margins keep getting tighter, you'll have the insight and support to keep moving forward. Simplot Grower Solutions.
Most people don't think about their furnace until it's not working, but we do. At Pipe Service Experts, we are trained to see what others miss. Airflow restrictions, pressure imbalances, heat exchanger flaws. That's how we catch little issues before they become cold nights and costly repairs. Because keeping your home warm takes more than just a toolbox. Our certified technicians will get your system running at peak condition. Call Pipe Service Experts for our special $99 precision tune-up today. Call 866-EXPERTS. See website for license details.
Second half here in Fort Pierce. Stanley County and Chamberlain both breaking their respective huddles. Stanley County out in front by 12 here on KGFX. And reminder, you've heard me say it all night long. We're streaming this one live on drgnews.com on the KGFX station page. Well, the concession stand line is about a mile long. There's everybody trying to get their popcorn, get back to the seats. You might want to grab your popcorn because the way that this thing is trending, we're going to have a photo finish here. Buffaloes will start with this opening possession of the third quarter. Stanley County now attacking away from us as we're set up in the near side corner away from the sideline of the benches. A Brendan Bothwell pass is deflected away by Tommy Knipling. So the Buffaloes will reset with 28 on the shot clock. Paxton Deal to inbound into Duffy on the right wing, gives it back. Duffy looking inside for Caldwell. Caldwell gets to work, turns around, up and no good off the glass. Great defense by Blaze Knipling. There for the Cubs. Miles Thompson ahead. At the top of the key, finding a little bit of lane. Long two on the way. Miles Thompson's got it going here early in the second half, and that's a good sign for the Cubs as his 2-point shot cuts it to a 10-point deficit. 38-28 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Bothwell on the left wing, up top for Duffy. Duffy swings to Deal, outside the arc. Work continues for Stanley County. Paxton Deal drives, pulls up from the elbow. And two guys who were quiet in the first half having something to say here to start the third quarter. Miles Thompson with a 2, answered back by a Paxton Deal 2. Back to a 12-point advantage for the Buffaloes. Riddick Big Eagle will now back out on the right wing, toss over to Braxton Harrison. And as that swings around to Miles Thompson, Thompson with a give and go inside, and now tumbling to the floor goes Trevor Caldwell. And it looks like he's going to get whistled for a foul as he just kind of pulled ever so slightly on the red jersey of Blaze Knipling. And that was believed to have forced the Chamberlain steal. So Miles Thompson will inbound. First team foul either side here with 6:49 remaining in the third quarter. Harrison fakes the pass, now goes inside. Knipling, turnaround floater with the right arm is good. What a gorgeous touch there from Blaze Knipling. Paxton Deal working. Couple steps past midcourt, off to Bothwell on the right wing. Bothwell on the elbow, turns around on Harrison, now bounces it up top for Breitag. Breitag thought about a long 2, now backs down. Paxton Deal, deep 3 on the way, in and out, no good. Rising up for the rebound is Breitag. Goes up and in off the window. Breitag putting that frame to work. He's got 5, and the lead is back to 12 for Stanley County. Miles Thompson splitting 2 defenders. Gorgeous finger roll in for the 2. Miles Thompson showing off the fancy footwork. Paxton Deal going down the lane. He draws the foul, and 2 free throws upcoming for the Buffaloes as Miles Thompson and Paxton Deal kind of in their own 1v1 mano-a-mano shootout here in the first 2 minutes and change of our third quarter. Again, Thompson just had 4 points in the first half. So did Paxton Deal. First free throw on the way for Deal is up and good, and a good night of free throw shooting continues for the Buffaloes. They've made 7 of their 9. But Thompson has matched his first half total here in the first 2 minutes and 9 seconds, and if Paxton Deal can knock down this upcoming free throw, he will have done the same. Deal eyes, 1 extra dribble, and the fire up and no good. So he splits the pair, 43-32. Chamberlain just trying to hang around and doing so very impressively. Braxton Harrison, right wing floater inside, passes too far out in front of Tommy Knipling. They tried the pick and roll. 5 on the floor for Stanley County. Eddie Duffy, Paxton Deal, Weston Prince, Jax Hawk Teaser, and Tegan Breitag. It's Miles Thompson, Braxton Harrison, Riddick Big Eagle, Tommy and Blaze Knipling, and we've got a foul, and that is offensive against Stanley County. Looks like they got Paxton Deal for a moving screen. That'll be the second foul by Paxton Deal. Second team foul of this third quarter for Stanley County. We put Chamberlain in the bonus late in the second quarter. Chamberlain only had 1 foul at that point, so it's been a clean game defensively for Chamberlain. Turnaround shot, no good for Blaze Knipling as he caught it right in between the glass and the rim, and it bounced right to Jax Hawk Teaser. Stanley County back on offense. Paxton Deal swings to the left. Kicks into the corner. Tegan Breitag, long two, along the baseline. Great touch from Breitag. .453 to go, 45-32. Inside move, gorgeous take from Tommy Knipling as he lays it up and in. The two teams trading baskets. Mixed-in deal, drawing a little contact from Miles Thompson. Had it jarred free, wanted the foul, didn't get it. But it bounces right to Eddie Duffy. Duffy swings to Prince, who kicks it into the left block for Breitag. Breitag kicks it out. Prince had to stretch out to try to reach it. And it'll go out of bounds. They say last touch by Weston Prince. Chamberlain will rotate the inbounder, and now coming to the bench is Braxton Harrison. He'll be checked out for Traven Rubidoux. Miles Thompson running point. He just looks comfortable out there. It's going to be a fun kid to watch over the next couple of years. High pass that might have slipped out of the hands ever so slightly of Blaze Knipling was picked off as it finally came back into orbit for Eddie Duffy, and a foul committed on offense by Chamberlain. Looks like they'll say that was committed by Miles Thompson. That will be his second foul. Jack Deal into the ball game. Weston Prince will take a seat as both coaches start to go into their bench yet again here in the second half. Paxton Deal driving the left side of the lane right into the teeth of Blaze Knipling, and Knipling commits the foul. Neither of these teams play with any fear. Both of them have outstanding size on the inside, and not just in height. They have got some wide shoulders in there, but you see some of these point guards for Chamberlain at Stanley County taking it right to the post as Paxton Deal knocks down the first free throw. And I can't believe I haven't mentioned this yet, but there's just been so much other talking points surrounding this game. This is kind of a family affair here between these two teams. If Paxton Deal splashes in the second, you all probably know, if you're watching this, Jalen Youthy and Joey Fisher, brothers-in-law. Two great guys leading great programs. We'd love to get a peek at the family group chat after this one. Miles Thompson floats a pass inside. That's collected by Tommy Knipling. He draws the foul along the baseline. So now both teams with three, and that'll be the first team foul, or excuse me, first personal foul on Jack Deal. Quickly into Big Eagle up top for Thompson. Jack Deal slides across his knees, and coverage of Thompson gets up quickly. Pass is deflected by Eddie Duffy as that was Traven Rubidoux looking to squeeze it in to Jarrett Clages along the baseline. Duffy got his right paw up there, deflected it away. Another Stanley County steal, and Eddie Duffy with his first 2-point bucket of the ball game. He's got 21 points. Do the math on that. Here's Miles Thompson back ahead. Clages on the left wing. Hands off to Rubidoux. Rubidoux eyeing the lane, spinning, backing out. Clages in the corner. Steps inside the paint, turnaround jumper, didn't get the friendly roll up the front of the rim. Everybody cleared out but Jack's Hawk teaser as Stanley County gets another rebound, leading by 15. Duffy from the elbow, kicks out to Paxton Deal. Deal turning the corner, bounces it into the corner for Jack Deal. Jack Deal for three, no good, but Breitag another strong offensive board. Goes up and under on the reversal, no good. And Tommy Knipling there to claim the board. Miles Thompson sprints it across midcourt. In the lane, and a foul committed. Looks like it'll be one of the deals. It'll either be Jack or Paxton. And it will be Jack Deal. Paxton got his right hand in there, jarred that free, but the body contact committed by Jack will earn him his second foul. Carson Bourne will check in for Tegan Breitag. As the Cubs get set, they'll float it up top to Tommy Knipling. It turns and dishes out to Big Eagle standing on the eye of the Buffalo logo. Swinging into the corner for Clages and gives it right back. And the pass inside, stolen by Duffy. Duffy with a full head of steam has it stripped and draws the foul. Riddick, Big Eagle in transition, trying to make a play. Got a little bit too much arm. And with 2:35 remaining in the third quarter, neither team with a foul to give. Second foul for Big Eagle. Lead to two Eddie Duffy free throws. First on the way is up and good. Such a crucial part of the game at the free throw line. Chamberlain 5 of 8, and with that make Stanley County 10 of 13. What an awesome crowd here in attendance tonight. This is just so much fun to call. Second free throw, up and no good. And coming away with the rebound is Blaze Knipling. Miles Thompson across midcourt for just a freshman, so cool-headed as he runs this offense. They go inside to Blaze Knipling. Bothwell going to commit the foul as he tried to defend. 6'4" Blaze Knipling, who certainly wins that battle in height against Bothwell, who stands at 5'8". And Bothwell just doing what he can to try to play defense on the inside. Only big man really down on the floor for Stanley County is Jax Hofteaser. Hofteaser, an incredible competitor, has dealt with a dislocated knee the entirety of his career. Again, only a freshman is Hofteaser, as the first is up and good for Blaze Knipling. Seen him go down a couple times this season, but he's been back to action quickly. It just kind of speaks to the heart of the competitor, Jax Hofteaser. And of course, Chamberlain has dealt with their fair share of bangs and bumps. They are playing tougher than ever. 50-35, Stanley County trying to stretch out this lead as we get closer to fourth quarter play. 2:08 remaining in the third. Stanley County knowing that Chamberlain can strike at any time. Here's a shot midway between the hoop and the arc for Eddie Duffy that goes in and out. Tommy Knipling with the board. It's off to Big Eagle. Big Eagle picks up the dribble, tries to beat it inside for Blaze Knipling on the left elbow. And Eddie Duffy dishes that one away with his right foot, so they'll reset. Inbound. Chance for the Sodak 16th spot on the line for one of these two teams. Miles Thompson, deep three on the way. That's no good, but right to Blaze Knipling, who cross-court swings it here near side. Traven Rubidoux working against Carson Bourne, goes up top for Big Eagle. Big Eagle, guarded by Bothwell, spins on the elbow. Looks down baseline, tries to thread a pass into Blaze Knipling. That'll be deflected away by Jax Hofteaser. Hofteaser will head to the bench, and 6'8" Trevor Caldwell back into the game. Thompson will float it in for Big Eagle on the right wing. Thompson fakes a three, steps free throw line jumper. That's no good. There for the rebound is Caldwell, sporting some fresh legs off the bench. Paxton Deal dribbling off to his left. Over to the right wing for Bothwell. Bothwell to Bourne. Bourne dribbling, swings. Duffy thought about three steps back, creates some space. Three on the way, no good. Fighting for the rebound is Trevor Caldwell, but he lost the dribble. Miles Thompson there for it. A beautiful pass up ahead, and Big Eagle could not finish the two. And it will go out of bounds, they say, I believe, on Paxton Deal. Miles Thompson with kind of a sidewinder pass up ahead for his teammate Big Eagle. And Big Eagle put his hands in his face, knowing that was one of the easier bucket attempts he'll see. And it stays with the Cubs, and he can certainly make up for it with a bucket here on this ensuing possession. It will be Rubidoux to dance and swing up top for Knipling. Knipling fakes the handoff to Thompson once, now gives it to him as he makes his way back across to the right wing. Dribbling between the legs. What a savvy move. Up and under, and the finish for Miles Thompson. How impressive was that? Contorting his body after the Euro step in the lane. With the right hand, finishes strong. Final 30 seconds. About a half-second difference in game clock and shot clock here in the third quarter. Chamberlain's cut it to a 13-point deficit. Stanley County would love a bucket on the outset here before heading to the final 8 minutes. Duffy on the left wing, guarded by Big Eagle up top for Bothwell. Thompson swatting at Bothwell as he dishes off to the left for Deal. Nice move by Deal, right to the rack, no good. Caldwell there with the rebound, has it jarred free, but right to Duffy. Duffy with the left hand finishes it at the buzzer. 52-37 on a buzzer-beating layup by Eddie Duffy after it was deflected his direction by Trevor Caldwell. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the start of the fourth quarter. 52-37 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Home team Stanley County, 8 minutes away from punching their ticket to the Sodak 16.
Stanley County.
Now Now's your chance for a great deal on smoking fast fiber internet from Venture Communications. Upgrade to the speed you need, up to 1 gig. And with whole home Wi-Fi included as part of your service, experience no-lag gaming, your favorite music, web surfing, HD video streaming, and connect to the latest smart devices. If you're ready for an upgrade, call or visit Venture Communications online.
Here in this region postseason bout between the Chamberlain Cubs, who sit at 12-9, and the 18-2 Stanley County Buffaloes. Joey Fisher said it himself. This isn't your typical 1 versus 4 seeded matchup. These are 2 of the top teams in Class 8. And I got to give credit to my technical director, Haley Hansen. She knows that I'm a fan of the greatest band of all time, Rush, and she's always playing some Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson. And as Miles Thompson starts this 4th quarter with a 3, that is huge for the Cubs. And if Miles Thompson can get going, Chamberlain might be able to mount this comeback. 52-40. Eddie Duffy trying to answer back. Short jumper is up and good. Eddie Duffy's getting everything he seems he wants. He's got 6 points in the second half, 25 total in the ballgame. Traven Rubidoux working to his right. Step back 3 on the way. Top of the key. It is good. Chamberlain knowing their season's on life support, and they're hitting the shots when they need. Traven Rubidoux and Miles Thompson, 2 threes to start this 4th quarter and cut it down to an 11-point ball game. Got to chip away for the Cubs. Eddie Duffy at the top, trading passes with Paxton Deal, going back and forth. Into the corner for Weston Prince. Stanley County perfectly content with eating up some shot clock here with 10 left on the board. 3-pointer on the way. Eddie Duffy, no good. Caldwell there for the board, up and good off the window. He hadn't scored in the second half, but it comes at a huge time for Stanley County. He's got 8 points, and with 6:40 to play, they stretch the lead back out to 13, and a turnover by Miles Thompson as he was hounded by Weston Prince. Bothwell and Weston Prince will not light up the Wegner Auto scoreboard in terms of points, but what they give Joey Fisher in defense simply cannot be ignored. Their point differential, war, if you'll call it in baseball terms, is incredibly high solely because of their defensive prowess, and it pays off there with another Weston Prince turnover forced on the Chamberlain Cubs. They go inside to Hofteaser. On the left block, he kicks back out, but he took an extra step. Tegan Brightag with a pat on the back of Jack's Hofteaser and a high five, telling him it's all right. Hey, let's just close this thing out. And we've had some history in the building. With that last shot, Eddie Duffy has surpassed the 1,000-point mark in his career. And a big thanks to the great work of John Stewart for hearing that and letting me know, because Eddie Duffy was right on the heels of that 1,000-point mark, and he just passed it. So congratulations to Eddie Duffy. A huge feat, 2nd player for Stanley County to reach the 1,000-point career mark here this season. The other was Paxton Deal. Up top, Weston Prince for 3. That's no good. Riddick Big Eagle there for the rebound. Up ahead, he wasn't expecting the pass, was Tommy Knipling. Somehow saves it. No, he stepped on the baseline. You can look over at the Chamberlain student section. They are dying with each and every possession. Then we've got a timeout taken by Jalen Youthy. Timeouts are sponsored by AgTechra. Acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTechra cooperative today. There's been a couple big feats by some high school scorers around the state this season. Of course, as we mentioned, Paxton Deal got to 1,000 points earlier this year. And as John Stewart was so kind to message me about, that was Eddie Duffy's 1,000-point passing bucket in the last couple of minutes. Lyman Raider Max Scott got to 2,000 points in her career. Of course, they got their Sodak 16 win last night to head to the state tournament in this very building, taking down McIntosh. You know, the great thing about Eddie Duffy is he could really care less There's nothing he wants more than just to get the win and head to the Sodak 16 here tonight with a great feat. And give it time. You'll hear Miles Thompson surpassing a 1,000-point mark before too long. Just the freshman. Paxton Deal on the way for three. No good. Hofteaser with a strong rebound, backing up, and a timeout wisely taken by Joey Fisher as Hofteaser was in some trouble. Joey Fisher will just call for the 30-second break. Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. And just to kind of give you an update, Trevor Caldwell not in the huddle. He is back towards the atrium near the locker room getting some assistance from the Avera medical team. We've had one stoppage of play for some blood on the court, we believe. It had to have been blood because Carson Bourne was assisted back to the locker room. And now Trevor Caldwell getting some help himself. 3 timeouts remain for Stanley County. 2 remain for Chamberlain. 5:22 to play in the fourth quarter. 56-43 Stanley County lead. Hofteaser will get the inbound. Freitag on the right wing gets the pass. One dribble and kick to the corner. Duffy, catch and shoot three. On the way. No good. That's going to be touched by Miles Thompson. And they will get the call correct. Miles Thompson trying to sell that he didn't touch it last. Weston Prince was sprinting in front of the student section to try to save it. I don't think he noticed that Thompson touched it. But that is the call, so it'll stay with Stanley County on the far end. And if you're just joining us, 56-43, Stanley County attacking away from us here as we're set up in the corner with the benches on the opposite side in a packed house in Parkview Auditorium. Final game in this building here this season for Stanley County. Trying to end it on a high note and head to the Sodak 16. Inside feed for Hofteaser. Spinning on Blaze Knipling. Up and no good. Outstanding defense from Knipling. And Chamberlain's out and running on the break. Big Eagle to the rack. No good. And a blocking foul is called against Tegan Freitag. So this is where this starts to get important. That is the first team foul either way. That's the third on Tegan Freitag in the game. But now Riddick Big Eagle with a chance to knock down 2 huge free throws and score his first points of the game, believe it or not, and he splashes in the first. Chamberlain, for the most part, have done their part from the free throw line. 7 of 10, shooting 70%, and adding to it as Big Eagle battles in the second. Thing hit off the back and front of the rim at least 3 times before dropping through. Now an 11-point lead for Stanley County with 4:40 to go. Duffy kicks back up top for Jack Deal. Deal has a yard free for the moment. Now escapes from Big Eagle, and Tegan Freitag didn't see Big Eagle coming up from behind, and it's given right back by Knipling. Paxton Deal with the steal, and he draws the foul as he goes up in the post. And that was a helter-skelter play. What a great play there from Knipling. Great play from Riddick Big Eagle, too, who was guarding Jack Deal. Deal gave it up to Freitag on the left wing. Big Eagle kind of came up from behind, pickpocketed him. When Tommy Knipling, who was falling away, had to get rid of it, or else he would have been called for travel. Instead, fouled Paxton Deal, who misses the first. So that foul actually paying off here. So Chamberlain can't cover up this 11-point deficit over the next couple of minutes. You'll just see this. Some fouls and hope that Stanley County misses free throws, which they don't do a lot. As Paxton Deal splits the pair and makes the second. Miles Thompson started to heat up in this second half, looking for another 3 at the top of the arc. That's no good. Bounces right to Eddie Duffy. Full court press here by Big Eagle. Duffy able to stride past Big Eagle, hits the brakes, spins around, now kicks to Jack Deal in the corner. Jack Deal into the paint. Gets contacted hard. That was a lot of contact on the shoulder. Jack Deal a little bit shaken up. Looks like they'll get Riddick Big Eagle with his 3rd foul. So some fouls starting to mount up on either side, but nobody really in danger of fouling out of this ball game. Quick kick in. Hofteaser, and Hofteaser goes right to the rack and puts it up and in for the 2-point bucket. Hofteaser's got 6. 59-45, under 4 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Miles Thompson gets the defender off his feet, kicks out to Big Eagle. 3 on the way for Riddick. No good. Paxton Deal trying to chase it down, and he tried to throw it off with Traven Rubidoux as he spun here in the near side corner, jumping out of play. Rubidoux with his Nice little move, just kind of moved his body out of the way. And that one was thrown out of bounds by Paxton Deal. So we'll stay down here with Chamberlain. Jack Deal, Paxton Deal, Eddie Duffy, Trevor Caldwell, and Tegan Breitag in the game for Stanley County. We'll tell you the 5 on the floor for the Cubs here after this possession. Ruben Rubidoux over to Thompson. Thompson fakes the 3. Dribbles around Paxton Deal. Kicks to the corner. Traven Rubidoux with a 3 from near side corner. That's no good. Blaze Knipling gets the rebound. Kicks out to Tommy. Tommy back to Blaze. It bounces around right into the hands of Tommy Knipling, who draws the Trevor Caldwell foul. Couldn't get the bucket to go. But again, more crucial free throws upcoming. Now we got a break. We remind you that it is Riddick Biggie, Blaze, and Tommy Knipling, Miles Thompson, and Traven Rubidoux on the floor in red for the Cubs. Tommy Knipling's first free throw left woefully short. Only missed 4 free throws tonight have the Cubs, but 3 of those misses have come from Tommy Knipling. Second on the way as he tries to split the pair, and it didn't even move the net. That's how perfect that free throw was. 59-46, 3:19 to go. Riddick Beagle trying to pop one free from Paxton Deal. Couldn't get it loose. Now Eddie Duffy will just hold on to the ball and slow things down as Stanley County tries to work away the clock, but Miles Thompson comes away with a steal. Right to the rack, draws the foul, and makes the bucket. Does Miles Thompson. Miles Thompson never taking a play off as Eddie Duffy swung it to his left for Paxton Deal. Thompson timed it up perfectly, jarred it loose, picked up the loose ball, and went coast to coast. Drew the contact, and that'll be the second foul. Nope, they're going to switch that. It'll be assessed to Eddie Duffy. That'll be his first. Now some conversation between our 3 officials made up of Jeremy Michelson, Corey Edson, and Mark Logan. And I think they were just trying to make sure they got the correct player. Says the foul. First and only free throw for Miles Thompson is up and good. So he completes the 3-point play the old-fashioned way. 10-point ball game. Do or die time for Chamberlain. Full court press is on. Had a good opportunity to foul Trevor Caldwell, but they only have 2 team fouls here this fourth quarter, so still more to give, which is not the best situation here for the Cubs as this pass deflected away by Tommy Knipling. Defense is really heating up here for Chamberlain. You can tell they're playing on their toes. Really trying to speed up the clock of Stanley County with 2:51 to go. Trailing 59-49 are the Cubs, just trying to do whatever they can to force some extra possessions. Paxton Deal will inbound here right in front of the student section into Duffy. Duffy spinning, has it popped free. That's Traven Rubidoux with the active hand. What a crowd, what an environment here tonight for some postseason hoops. Not many seats to be had inside of Parkview Auditorium. Paxton Deal will heave it back into the backcourt as Eddie Duffy chases down the inbound pass. Duffy working. Picked up by Rubidoux, 10 on the shot clock. Up top for Deal. Deal back to Duffy. Now 6 to shoot. Duffy pump fakes the 3. Cross-court swing. Deal's open in the corner. 3-point attempt on the way. No good. Caldwell trying to sprint towards the loose ball in the corner and disappears from our line of sight as he couldn't track it down. So Chamberlain gets the stop they need on defense. Jack's Hawk Teaser will check in for Trevor Caldwell. 2:26 to play. Still plenty of time for the Chamberlain Cubs to complete the comeback. Thompson lets it roll softly to midcourt. Hands off to Big Eagle. Big Eagle spins. Thompson open. Right wing 3 on the way. No good. Hawk Teaser going up for the rebound, and it looks like we've got a foul, and that will be assessed to Blaze Knipling. And again, might not be the worst foul there because if it does get to foul time, the last thing you want if you're Chamberlain is having some fouls to give when you really need Stanley County to get to the free throw line and hope they miss free throws. That'll be the 4th foul on Blaze Knipling. Full court press here for the Chamberlain Cubs. Paxton Deal will beat it and gets fouled by Miles Thompson, who drops a shoulder into Deal at midcourt. That'll be the 4th team foul. And even with those 4 fouls, Jalen Youthy knows he has to have Blaze Knipling on the floor. He'll check out Jarrett Plages. Next foul will put Stanley County at the line. Stanley County has 3 team fouls. Bothwell rifles it in to Hofteaser. Whips off to Duffy. And Joey Fisher wants to take a timeout as his team is getting trapped in front of the scores tape. We'll be back in 30 seconds. 2:08 to play. 59-49 crunch time for the Cubs. Can they complete the comeback? We'll find out here in a half minute on KGFX and DRGnews.com.
Welcome to Bowie Foods at Al's Oasis Plaza. My great-grandfather, Gus Bowie, opened the first store in 1905. I'm R.F. Bowie, the president of Bowie Foods. We aren't your typical store. You'll find everything you need for your family. You'll save money, and I promise you're going to enjoy your grocery shopping experience. We carry a lot of locally produced products and some things you just aren't going to find anywhere else. South Dakota owned, family owned, Bowie Foods.
Straight from the start, contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. Welcome back, Justin Cowick here on the call. So excited to have some Friday Night Hoops regional postseason action on KGFX tonight. Haley Hinson back in the studio. John Stewart, Ryan Menning working the camera in front of a huge crowd. Of course, Chamberlain not afraid of a little snow, making their way over to Fort Pierre here this evening. We'll set the stage for you. 2 minutes and 8 seconds remain here in the fourth quarter. It's a 10-point Stanley County lead. 59-49 to be exact on the Wegner Auto scoreboard. Stanley County with 3 fouls. Chamberlain's next foul will put the Buffaloes at the line, which is we wind down the final 2:08 of this ball game. Will work in Chamberlain's favor if Stanley County goes cold from the charity stripe. Inbound to Eddie Duffy, who fakes the pass out to Paxton Deal. Now he's going to circle back. We're trying to foul him. Couldn't get it off. Bothwell had a wide open look at 3, but interested in using clock. What a feed inside for Breitag, who was wide open, and he lays in the bucket for the 2. 61-49. That very well could have been the nail in the coffin for the Chamberlain Cubs in this season. Miles Thompson trying to answer back with the 3 right on the money. Timeout taken by Jalen Youthy. What a shot from Miles Thompson to keep this thing alive. His last 3 buckets have all been 3-point makes. He made a 3 and then got a steal, drove the rack, made the bucket, drew the foul. So it was an old-fashioned 3-point play. And then there from the right wing, knocks it down. And with 1:38 left, they have cut it to a single-digit deficit for the first time since the first quarter. We're in the timeout here. Acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. Chamberlain has 1 timeout remaining, and it will be interesting. This was very similar to how the last matchup between these two teams went on February 5th back in Chamberlain. Stanley County got out in front to an 18-4 advantage in the first quarter. Chamberlain battled all the way back, made it a 5-point ball game at one point, but when the time came and Chamberlain had to foul, Stanley County was keen on getting it to Eddie Duffy, and Duffy was able to hit just about every free throw and extend their lead to their winning total, 69-57. Well, now here again, Chamberlain trailing by 9. Stanley County with the possession. 98 seconds remain in the ball game. Can Chamberlain pull off a steal, maybe get a trap, maybe get a violation of some sort? See how they play it. Miles Thompson steps in front of the inbound pass intended for Paxton Deal, deflects it out of play. So 1 second wasted off the clock. Stanley County will reset and we'll do it again. Bothwell inbounding here along the baseline. They get it to Duffy. Duffy bounces it back to Bothwell. Bothwell rifles a pass towards midcourt as Paxton Deal gets it across into the front court. A nutmeg pass as Duffy goes through the legs of Riddick Big Eagle, and a giveaway by Bothwell looking to pass it cross court to Paxton Deal. And there's the turnover that the Cubs needed. 1:25 now on the clock. Chamberlain with a 3 can make this a 2-possession game. Traven Rubidoux, top of the key. Long 3 on the way, off the mark. He chases down his own rebound. Kicks out to Tommy Knipling. Miles Thompson fakes the three, kicks out. Big Eagle three from the right wing. Up and no good. 3 men underneath. 2 Buffaloes and 1 Cub fighting for the rebound. Alternating possession favors the Buffaloes as Jack Soft-Teaser and Tegan Brightag tied up with Tommy Knipling. So Chamberlain got 2 good looks at 3 there. Couldn't hit either of them. Boy, would that Chamberlain fan section have erupted if one of those 2 had gone down. Miles Thompson will check out of the ball game. That was his 4th. He has 4 fouls. So wisely taking him out as Jalen Youthie doesn't want his next foul to be his last. This foul, meanwhile, off the inbound committed by Riddick Big Eagle, will send Eddie Duffy to the free throw line, and we're having deja vu from early February. Duffy with these free throws can stretch the lead back out to double digits. First on the way, drops through and good. So Miles Thompson back in the game. Riddick Big Eagle still in the game. Those 2 both have 4 fouls. Jarrett Clagis will check out of the ball game. Blaze Knipling back in. He also with 4. Second free throw for Duffy is right on the money. Chamberlain bringing it forward. 3 on the way for Thompson. Off the back iron, no good, but right to Rubidoux. Rubidoux steps back. Corner 3 on the way. Too strong. Deal with the rebound. Deal dribbling through traffic. Draws the foul. And with under a minute to play, it's going to be free throws on the way out for Stanley County as they lead by 11. Some big free throws upcoming here for Paxton Deal. And some fans here in the building trying to beat the traffic. Feeling like this one might be over with as Paxton Deal drops in the first. With this Jalen Youthie and Chamberlain Cubs team, you can never be certain until it's 3 zeros on the clock. Paxton Deal makes the first, trying to make the pair. Fires and drops it through. Paxton Deal, a majority of his points, almost all of them in the second half, have come from the free throw line. Miles Thompson drives, kicks out Big Eagle, step back, kicks to the corner. Thompson for 3. That's no good. Soft-Teaser with the rebound. Duffy with the ball, kicks back to Paxton Deal. Deal up the floor, and he's across midcourt. And Stanley County might be on their way to the Sodak 16. Trying to dribble out the clock. They finally foul Eddie Duffy. And Duffy, he can now just stat pad. He had 19 in the first half. He's got 8 here in the second half. What a night for Eddie Duffy. 30.9 remaining. First free throw is perfect. Great night of free throw shooting here for the Stanley County Buffaloes. They made 14 of their 18 attempts. Make sure you stick around for the Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show. We'll take a look at all of the final scores and some still going matchups here as Duffy makes the second free throw. Timeout taking on the floor, 67-52. Stanley County is going to advance to the Sodak 16 qualifier here after the final 30.9 seconds are wasted away. Acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Integra Cooperative today. So 67-52 is the score on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. 30.9 seconds remaining, and I continue with my little plug for our post-game show, sponsored by Family Dental of Pierre in Gettysburg. We've got our Bauman Lumber Player of the Game to give out. I don't think there's much question where this Bauman Lumber Player of the Game t-shirt is going to go. But I'll save the suspense, and of course, I think we'll have head coach Joey Fisher on the headset to talk about this impending win as Stanley County and the 5 on the floor huddle up and all smiles, and then they just wait to see how everything shakes out across the state where they'll be playing on Tuesday night. Of course, we'll have that game for you on KGFX, wherever it may be. Stay tuned to the local sports page at drgnews.com. Miles Thompson across midcourt. Picks up the dribble, thought about three, and then changed his mind in midair. Swings to Rubidoux. Rubidoux heaves the three. Off the side iron, no good. Duffy with the board. Paxton Deal will draw the foul. Now is 17.2. Chamberlain understandably just delaying the inevitable. Never seen them not play a full four-quarter game. So Chamberlain and Jalen Youthy will rotate a couple guys in. For some housekeeping, that'll be the third foul for Traven Rubidoux. Paxton Deal looking to add to his total tonight. Knocks down yet another free throw. Paxton Deal made a field goal. It was the first minute or so of our second half. And then since then, it has just been 7 made free throws as Eddie Duffy exits the ball game to a standing ovation from most in attendance here tonight. Duffy closes out his game with 30 points. Paxton Deal now finally able to take his second free throw. He fires, he makes. 69-52. Stanley County just going to wait out the final 13 seconds. Chamberlain will go inside. Turnaround, fade away, jumper, no good for DJ DeSluber. Rebound pulled in by Weston Prince. Brandon Bothwell will work it towards midcourt, and this one has gone final. Stanley County with the win, 69-52, and the Buffaloes are headed to the Sodak 16, sporting a 19-2 season record. Chamberlain has their season come to an end at 12-10, but what a gutty and gritty season for Jalen Youthy and the Cubs. Nothing for those Chamberlain boys to hang their head about. Boy, did they fight hard, and again, almost mounted a unbelievable comeback against this Stanley County Buffalo squad. We'll recap all of it for you. Family Dental up here in Gettysburg post-game show, which is coming up. We'll give you another little preview of what to expect. Stanley County will celebrate here on the hardwood, as most fans will enjoy seeing this take place. We'll try to get Joey Fisher in the midst of all the chaos up here to talk with us on the headset and recap this. Well, of course, we'll look back at individual scoring, and most exciting is he gets to celebrate and gets a round of applause from the home crowd. Take a look at the scores from around the state and get you set up for Tuesday night's action for whoever Stanley County will face. Back in 2 minutes here with the Family Dental up here in Gettysburg post-game show. 69-52 Stanley County. Moving on.
Dr. Ryan and his team at Family Dental in Pierre and Gettysburg would like to thank their wonderful patients for allowing us to treat their whole family, from infants to elders and everyone in between, including routine dental care, same-day crowns and bridges, implants, and many more procedures. We are excited that soon we'll be able to offer IV sedation. We are excited for what the future will bring. Call 224-7774 to schedule an appointment today. Again, thank you to all our wonderful patients.
There's an app for everything, including high school sports, from the stations of DRG Media Group. Download the DRG News app from the App Store or Google Play. It takes only a moment, so you'll have it to replay this game. See live and archived video of all games. And when you select your favorite station during the live stream, the video will immediately pop up. See Central South Dakota High School sports on your phone or mobile device with the DRG News app. Download it now from the App Store or Google Play.
At First Dakota, we don't like to brag about ourselves. So when Forbes named us South Dakota's best bank again, we faced a dilemma. Thankfully, we have the state's best customers, so we're happy to brag about them instead. After all, they inspire us every day. The farmers, the business owners, the families. Without them, we'd be just another bank. So thank you to all of our amazing customers. We wouldn't be here without you. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the SDHSAA.
Finished with 10 points for the Chamberlain Cubs tonight. And Tommy Knipling finished the game with 12 total for the Cubs. Riddick Big Eagle with 2. Jarrett Clages finishing with 4. And Blaze Knipling finishing with 5. Stanley County Buffaloes had a good night across the board for most of their starters. Paxton Deal, got to do some quick math on this because it's a lot of ones. He and Miles Thompson didn't really have their characteristic start in the first half. You know, Miles Thompson went for 28 the other night. Stanley County's defense was able to hold him to just 4 in the first half. And he was able to turn it on in the second half. As you heard, he finished with 19 total points. Kind of a similar performance in the first half from Paxton Deal, the senior captain for Stanley County. 4 points in the first half, but he started the second half with a 2-point field goal and then just knocked down free throw after free throw on the way out. Whereas we take a look at his individual scoring, 9 total points in the second half. He finished the game with 13. Good night inside the paint for Tegan Breitag and Trevor Caldwell, as the Breitag finished with 9, Caldwell finishing with 8. And Jax Hofteser, how about the game that he had? Those 3 guys, while they didn't finish in double digits, didn't have those blow-you-away point performances. Man, were they important, because Chamberlain possesses some serious size on the inside themselves. Blaze Knipling, Tommy Knipling at 6'3". Of course, Jarrett Clages, 6'4" off the bench. But it was tough work on the inside for Breitag, Caldwell, and Hofteser, but they rose to the occasion and played a great game. Did those 3 guys combining on the evening for 23 total points. Weston Prince and Brendan Bothwell had their typical great defensive games, forcing a lot of turnovers, drawing a lot of loose balls free, and helping their defense turn into offense. And that has been a running theme for those guys here throughout the season. But the night really belonged to Eddie Duffy. He started this game with 3 straight made threes, then drew a foul, knocked down those 2 free throws, and then knocked down 2 more. At one point, he was 5 for 5 from outside the arc. And another little bit of history is he crossed the 1,000-point mark in his career. Of course, it was a nice moment down on the floor with the Buffaloes as they were able to let Eddie Duffy get his 1,000-point basketball presented to him. And then the whole team got behind him. They had a banner for him. Second time this season, Stanley County has been able to celebrate a 1,000-point career score, as Paxton Deal did it a couple weeks ago. And he was honored here at home. And now Eddie Duffy is getting his congratulations. His fans come up and say good job to him and very well deserved. And as we mentioned, he went 5 of 6 from 3-point range in the first half. He finished with 19 points in the first half alone and didn't hit another 3 in the second half, but didn't need to because he got it done inside the paint, started working in the post, scored 3 made field goals, finishing with 6 points there, and then knocked down for very crucial free throws. And he finished with 29 total points on the evening. Weston Prince with 2, Paxton Deal with 13. And again, Hofteaser, Breitag, and Caldwell combining for 23 points. Hofteaser with 6, Breitag with 9, and Caldwell with 8. Now, to kind of recap the trend of this ball game, it was a quick start for Stanley County. As we told you, Eddie Duffy was white hot from outside the arc. Everything he looked at, he was making. And I mentioned the hoop must have looked, the rim must have looked like a hula hoop to Duffy in that first half. Paxton Deal was also able to knock down a 3. Very reminiscent of what we saw back in early February when Stanley County got out to a double-digit lead in the first half. Chamberlain came storming back. At one point, after a 20-10 lead at the end of the first quarter, Stanley County stretched out their lead to 20 total points. But man, Chamberlain and Jalen Youthy, they never give up on a ball game, and they didn't again tonight. They were able to cut this thing down to another 10-point deficit going into the halftime break. And, just still trailing by double digits, but you could tell the momentum had shifted. Some big buckets, some big steals by their defense. You felt like, hey, they were right there in this thing. Now, at one point, they were able to cut it back to a single-digit deficit, but Stanley County just stayed persistent. I think one thing that they really wanted to capitalize on was in their last matchup in the regular season, it felt like Stanley County just let off the gas a little bit, wasn't able to really close out Chamberlain like they knew that they should. And a lot of that is credited to Jalen Youthy and Chamberlain's just continued pressure, nonstop action, always trying to really stay in ball games. They're a scrappy team, a team that nobody wants to play. And I think that is one of the kindest things you can say about Chamberlain, a team that nobody wants to run into at this point in the season. Well, it started to happen again, but Stanley County reminded of what happened back in early February, said we're not going to let that happen again. They stayed persistent and were able to get the 69-52 victory. Head coach Joey Fisher starting to make his way up towards our broadcast booth. So as we move along in our Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show, we remind you that many nights like tonight, as we close out this postseason, we've got action across multiple airwaves or multiple stations on our airwaves. And it's just a great reminder to download the DRG News app. Make your listening experience much more streamlined and much more enjoyable. You can bounce around from game to game and catch all of the action live. And we'll remind you what the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety has to say. But first, Joey Fisher making his way up the steps and going to throw on the headset. And I always appreciate Joey Fisher. Everybody wants a piece of Fisher after these post games. I don't know. Maybe he likes to come away up here and get away from the fray a little bit. But Joey Fisher makes his way up. Head coach of the Stanley County Buffaloes throwing on the headset with us. And Coach, first things first, congratulations. Kind of felt like deja vu back to early February. No quit in that Chamberlain Cubs team, and I'm sure that that was a message to your guys in the locker room at the halftime break.
Yeah, man. Jalen does a really good job with his guys, and we knew it was going to be a battle, and we just had to sustain those runs. They're a team that makes a lot of runs, and we knew they were going to make it. We just had to be able to sustain it a little bit.
Absolutely. And Joey, we're both catching our breath up here. It's just a thrilling victory in front of a great crowd. Before we get into the game itself, last game inside of Parkview, what did you want to say to the fan base, to Fort Pierre, the folks that came over from Pierre, and just an awesome environment tonight? What do you have to say to the fans?
We appreciate them so much. They gave us that extra energy, man. That home court, it's something special. And I think this year it's really been something special. People are buying into Buffalo basketball, and just really special. And the boys get hyped up in the big crowds. It gives a lot of energy, and they were the difference tonight, man. They got loud and we made some big plays, and that's what carried us through, I think.
Absolutely, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Buffalo purple and gold on the road Tuesday night. Now let's get into the ball game. 2 words, Eddie Duffy. What a game, what a career. He's just a junior still, but passes the 1,000-point mark in his career, hits his first 5 3-point attempts, a guy truly rising to the occasion. What do you got to say about Duffy and his performance tonight?
Hey, special players make special plays, man. I don't have to say much more than that. Everybody knows who he is. They know how special of a talent he is, and he came out and he got us going, and he wanted to make that first punch, and he came out and he did it. That really set the tone, and the guys followed suit. Our big guy's got a little bit of love early, which was awesome. And then, that opened up some more opportunities for him. So, just setting the tone. He's a leader, man. He's been a leader since he stepped into the gym as a freshman, and everybody kind of knew that too. So just seeing him do that, he's got a lot of basketball left in him. And, we got one more we want to try to go get Tuesday. So
Absolutely. You're 1-0, and then tomorrow we'll be back to 0-0, I'm sure, once you find out what the matchup looks like. But you talked about the big guys, Trevor Caldwell and Tegan Brytag. They played outstanding, but Jax Hofteaser off the bench as a freshman, stepping up in such a big game. I thought what he did tonight was incredibly impressive as well.
Yep, he stepped in, and, it's like I said, these freshmen, they're young, but they're 21 games into the season now, so they're kind of those seasoned vets. They got one season underneath their belt. We're going to expect them to go perform like they've been there before. And, we give those guys a lot of confidence, and they did a good job rising to the occasion and making some big plays. And, we needed them. We needed every bucket. We were able to step down the fourth, but it was a game of runs in there, and we needed every bucket and every play. And they stepped up, and they did a really great job.
So you guys had the 10-day break coming into this one, played another difficult team in Chamberlain. You're going to have another difficult matchup. Whoever you draw on Tuesday, did you feel pretty good? Were you worried about the rest versus rust thing coming into tonight's game? And how do you feel like this is going to benefit you playing a scrappy and hard team like Chamberlain going into Tuesday night's matchup?
For sure, the rust factor is definitely always a worry, but, we did some scrimmage stuff. We tried to keep them as active as we could without trying to get them hurt. And, I think that helped play a little bit into it. And we just tried to simulate as much game stuff as you can. And, it's like I said, I think you always want to play tough competition at the end of the year because that's iron sharpens iron. You're going to be at your best at the end of the year, right? You want to be playing good teams that are going to push you to your max limits. And I think that battle test, our last 5 games, they've been tough games, and I think that's what set us up for this moment. We just got to be ready to go, and we're looking to play our best 32 minutes Tuesday night. We'll see what happens.
One win away from the state championship. That was head coach of the Stanley County Buffaloes, Joey Fisher. Joey, thanks for joining us. You got a lot of hands to shake and your own baby to kiss down there, so we'll let you go.
Appreciate you, Justin. Thanks again, Mr. Jim.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And we look forward to calling that one on Tuesday night, wherever it may be, against whoever it may be, as that was head coach Joey Fisher of the Stanley County Buffaloes. All right, we got a T-shirt to give out. Now it's time for our Bauman Lumber Player of the Game segment. Before we do that, a word from our friends who sponsor our Player of the Game at Bauman Lumber.
When you need building supplies, there's no need to go anywhere except to Bauman Lumber in Fort Pierre.
Bauman Lumber is locally owned and offers quality products, expert advice, free estimates, and free local delivery for large or small projects. Whether it's a home improvement project, remodel job, or all new construction, they even welcome special orders. Quality building materials and affordable prices for residential or commercial projects can be found at Bauman Lumber, 1223 Sale Barn Road, Fort Pierre, or call 223-9762.
Little bumper music on the back of our Bauman Lumber Player of the Game segment. And before we get to that, just wanted to say a big thanks again to Joey Fisher. Everybody wants a piece of the winning head coach, especially in a packed house like tonight. And he was kind enough to come up and give us some of his time. And big thanks to Athletic Director Keely Braceland, too, for making that happen. So let's take a look. It could go a lot of different ways. Miles Thompson, what about the performance in the second half? He had putting up 19 total points in the ball game. Tommy Knipling was a great kind of catalyst for Chamberlain's offense to keep this thing within striking distance. And, of course, he finished with 12 points. Traden Rubidoux coming off the bench, scoring some big buckets for Chamberlain. He is certainly a candidate for a Bauman Lumber Player of the Game. Paxton Neal hit the free throws when it counted in the second half, but this could not go anywhere else but to Mr. Eddie Duffy. 29 points, passes the 1,000-point mark in his career. Started the game 5 for 5 from outside of the arc. He was tonight's Bauman Lumber Player of the Game. So congrats, Eddie Duffy. You've now got another shirt to add to your collection. And big thanks to Bauman Lumber for sponsoring our Player of the Game, a truly valued sponsor. Well, there's still a lot of folks hanging around, but I'm sure a lot of folks are in their car making their way home. Please drive safe. The South Dakota Office of Highway Safety reminds you, don't deer for deer. It starts with you. You've got someplace to be. That place is back home to enjoy a weekend of more high school hoops. What do we have coming up tomorrow night? Well, Lyman and Corsica Stickney will have their game made up after a little bit of weather postponed that here tonight. That'll be live from the Corn Palace with Darren Boyle tomorrow evening beginning at 4:45. Tip-off is scheduled for 5 p.m. And also, of course, we've got Pure Governor boys basketball on their Sodak 16 first-round matchup tomorrow night on River 92.7. Now let's take a look at some scores from around the state tonight. As we mentioned, a lot of action going on across the state here in Class A and B. We'll start here in Class A as these two games went final already announced. Lenox over Vermilion 53-49. Sioux Falls Christian took down Dakota Valley, and that final score 83-54. Sioux Falls Christian again flexing their muscles and making the argument as one of the top teams in the state. Rapid City Christian was able to defeat Hill City 68-40 here tonight. West Central cruising against Del Rapids. Final score there 71-46. And Hamlin beat Sioux Valley 67-44. Another top team in Hamlin making their case as one of the best in the state. LeCook Central Montrose beats Mount Vernon Plankinton 35-29. Flandreau pulls it out against Baltic 45-41. Some folks might have seen a little bit of an upset there as Flandreau gets the 4-point win. Webster area, no problem with Britton Hecla 78-57. Cheyenne Eagle Butte takes care of Beaubridge Pollock and ends the Tigers season 46-30. Wagner over Parker Marion 74-58. Paialutza and Littlewood went down to the wire. Paialutza pulls out the 1-point victory 62-61. What a game going between Pine Ridge and Winter. That one required extra time. Pine Ridge gets the win 72-67 over Winter. St. Thomas More, who is believed to be the likely matchup with Stanley County on Tuesday night, they take care of Lee Deadwood 54-37. Groton area beat Millbank 61-35. Excuse me. And Clark Willow Lake is going to get the win against Elkton Lake Benton. They lead 75-30 midway through the fourth quarter. From Class B, what a game between Ipswich and Gettysburg as Ipswich gets the win 61-59. Kadoka area falls to White River and the scrappy Tigers get it done 60-54. Timberlake beats Faith by 11, 63-52. Dupree handles Harding County 72-53. Good one was on KMLO tonight. Sully Buttes ekes out the win, 11-point victory over Faulkton area. Oh, let me rephrase that. Hard to say it's an eke out win for the Chargers. They win by 11, but they win nonetheless, 55-44. Aberdeen Christian survives against Warner, 61-56. Leola Frederick area passes by Wabae Summit 66-56. And Aberdeen Christian 61-56 over Warner. I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but just wanted to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's here. And Wall and New Underwood are at the end of the first half. The Eagles leading New Underwood 38-26. Just about everything gone final, but make sure you tune in to the local sports page at drgnews.com. We'll have all those final scores from around the state, and also once the matchups are set, we'll let you know those as well. Chamberlain finishes the season after the loss with a final record here of 12-10. Stanley County season lives on to Tuesday night. They get it done 18-2 on the season are the Stanley County Buffaloes. What a campaign being put together here. And as we said with Joey Fisher, no easy games left on the schedule. It seems like there hasn't been an easy game all season as the talent just continues to get better. And the Chamberlain season comes to an end, but what a season it was. And again, you're going to be hearing the name Miles Thompson plenty over the next upcoming couple of years. I want to give a big thanks to all of our great sponsors for making this broadcast possible here tonight at the Stanley County Booster Club, Dunes Golf, First Dakota National Bank, Access Health, Bauman Lumber, Hawaii Federal Credit Union, Xander Auto Parts, Access Health, Ormco, West 40, Oasis Pump and Pack, the Byrie Brothers, and Edward Jones. Also, the pregame show is sponsored by Bank West. The DRG News app makes sure you can catch all of the action coming across the DRG Media Group airwaves at the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, making sure you get to and from the game safely. Our game officials were introduced and sponsored by the South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division of Consumer Protection. All timeouts were sponsored by by Agtegra. Our halftime show was sponsored by CHS River Plains, and this Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show wrapping up here in a moment. Big thanks to those two great sponsors. And, of course, our Eddie Duffy was our player of the game, sponsored by Bauman Lumber. One final time from our Wegner Auto scoreboard, Stanley County gets the win 69-52 and advances to the Sodak 16 on Tuesday night. This activity was brought to you by this station, its advertisers, and the member schools of the SDHSAA. No rebroadcast in whole or in part may be made without the written permission of the SDHSAA. For John Stewart and Brian Menning on the camera, Haley Hansen back in the studio, I'm Justin Cowart saying so long. Thank you for tuning in here on some Friday night hoops action on KGFX and DRGnews.com. We'll see you right back here on KGFX Tuesday night as Stanley County plays in the Sodak 16. Have a great Friday night and a safe weekend, everybody. Justin Cowart signing off.
Driven by the Office of Highway Safety. 1060 KTFX Pierre. Rebroadcasting on K276GT. 103.1 FM Fort Pierre. Drive sober or get pulled over.
From ABC News, I'm